Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free right now. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Yay indeed, Jimmie. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you folks so much for joining us once again on another wild, crazy, insane edition of Crime and Sports, and we have it all for you today.
Hell yeah.
A wild one. This is a revisit. We did this case way back in our 10th episode.
Oh?
And it was one of those cases where there was more to it, but we were trying to do it in an hour.
Yeah.
We were trying to cram it in an hour, and I never, this is the 188th episode. This is the one episode we did where I'm like, I don't like how, I feel like we left stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it wasn't complete, and I feel like there was just stuff there that we didn't go over that we should have gone over, and we just did it for brevity's sake. And so today we're gonna expand on it and make it right.
Great.
So this is good. We're gonna right our one wrong, what I feel like it is, which is good. We'll do that. Before we get to that, just want to thank everybody for everything you've done for us this week, of course, especially anyone who has left us a review on that purple icon.
You guys are the best.
Thank you. Apple Podcasts, whatever it is. If you can do that, it helps us a ton. Give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say. You can say you're following instructions. These guys are forcing me to do this. Right. I'm locked in a closet right now.
They forced my hand.
Whatever you got to say, it doesn't matter. But really, really helps out the show. Helps drive us up the charts. We don't know why, but it does. If you want to be an even bigger hero to the show, you can do that by going over to shutupandgivememurder.com, where you can get anything you need for crime and sports and Small Town Murder, which is our other podcast. And if you're not listening to that, I don't know what you're doing, especially if you like this story.
Sure.
You're going to love Small Town Murder, so listen to that. But all sorts of merch, tickets to all the live shows. We are working on adding a couple crime and sports live shows to the slate of Small Town Murder live shows. We released the tickets for Small Town Murder last week. A couple cities already sold out. They sold out like in a day.
They're selling so fast.
Salt Lake City, Denver, and Portland sold out really fast, and we have now added a second show to Portland the next day. So we're going to be there another day in Portland and do another show in Portland because Portland's always been damn good to us.
And Boston's crushing
and
too.
Boston, we're going to sell that Wilbur out pretty fast.
You
so
guys
get
are
your tickets.
So good to us.
We're
Thank
jacked.
you.
We're jacked. Get your tickets to New York too. It's the same weekend. It'll be fun. But that all that stuff aside, if you want to be an even bigger hero to us, a producer of the show, literally a producer who we're going to gush about at the end of the show. We're going to say such nice things about them. We're going to say terrible things about people for 2 hours and then say the nicest things in the world about a list of people. If you'd like to join that list, you can do it very, very easily over at patreon.com/crimeinsports, or head over to PayPal and use our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com. Right. And that's amazing. Every dime is appreciated beyond belief. And you can get to both of those links right from where, Jimmie?
Shutupandgivememurder.com.
Goddamn straight. So with that said, quickly before we get into the case, I just want to go over one thing very quickly because I'll forget later on. The Josh Gordon thing.
Oh, Jesus.
Now, Josh Gordon is a wide receiver in the NFL.
He's so good.
Sort of. Sometimes he is. Oh, no, good. He's really good. I meant he's sort of and sometimes in the NFL. He's always good. He's
so good.
Fast. He's a great receiver. He's a dangerous weapon to have on the field. Problem is, he gets suspended every year for weed.
Right.
It's nothing else. It's never steroids. It's never for, Greg Hardy slammed his girlfriend's head in a fucking toilet seat repeatedly, but they let him back in the league. But apparently Josh Gordon's weed smoking is so offensive to anybody around him that he can't possibly be in the NFL. This is the most ridiculous thing ever.
Indefinitely suspended.
That
is crazy.
For weed. Who does he play for, Jimmie?
Seattle.
Where's Seattle?
That is in Washington.
Yes, thank you. As in Washington State. What is legal in Washington State?
For sure marijuana.
Definitely weed. This is fucking ridiculous. We're to the point now, we're past the tipping point, NFL. You know what? Fuck you, NFL. I'm so sick of the fucking NFL. I love football. That's the thing.
It's the greatest sport on earth.
As a game, it's a great game.
Yeah.
Has everything, especially for television. It's built for drama.
Right.
The fucking field is the shape of a fucking television. It's perfect. It doesn't get better than that for television. You have ruined it.
Yeah.
You've taken a beautiful thing and skull fucked it to the point where it doesn't even remember its own name. That's what you've done, NFL. You're pathetic. You're fucking... I'm sorry. MLB just made a policy to stop testing for weed.
Right.
Because it's ridiculous.
It's dumb.
Why can everyone else do it and not them? It's not performance enhancing, and
James,
it's so stupid.
What's a sentence that's never been said about a receiver who had a lights out game? If that guy wasn't so stoned, he wouldn't have done so goddamn great today.
Yeah.
That's never been said.
It's only because he was so stoned is why he beat our cornerback repeatedly to the end zone. Never been said. Leave these people alone. Leave these guys alone. MLB, NBA doesn't test for weed because, let's face it, that league runs on weed.
Right.
Talk to NBA players. They go, it's like 90% of the guys smoke weed. It's a bunch of young black dudes. Right. They smoke weed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just culturally, that's what it is. It's fucking, and they're all like a lot of Americans too.
Right.
And even the Europeans that smoke weed that come over are like kind of like, I don't know. They're a different breed of Europeans. They're a different type of style.
A little more fun.
More the weed smoking type. It's just a different thing. Fucking baseball doesn't test for hockey. Doesn't test for shit.
Nothing.
Because they're, I don't know why, whatever. But
because they're all lunatics.
It's just football. Enough. Stop it, NFL.
You're taking a product that is perfect and fucking it up.
It's
so much fun to watch.
Not anymore.
You're ruining it.
Not anymore.
With rules, you're ruining it with this shit.
I'm tired of the
rules are crazy.
I'm tired of the faux like over patriotism and the whole I'm tired of it. And I'm not saying patriotism is bad, but they make it like it's their brand and it's like, okay, you know what?
But you charge your patriots to be patriots.
The NFL doesn't own America.
No.
That's not the flag isn't their brand.
No.
That's what I'm saying. And it's just annoying. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of their whole bullshit.
It's
NFL.
Obnoxious. It's a holier than thou thing.
It is.
And when you're hypocritical, it takes away your fucking meaning.
We'll put it this way: they're a league that gives a shit what the president says, and I don't mean this current president. I'm talking any president. Right. The NBA, any president says anything they don't like, they go fuck yourself. Right. We don't care. You're not our audience. Eat dicks. Whereas the NFL takes shit seriously from like authority figures. I don't even mean a president, just anybody. They're
disappointing.
They're an authoritarian league. So that said, moving on. We've spent 3 minutes on that, but yeah, Josh Gordon shouldn't be suspended. Sorry about that, but let's get to the case today. Let's get to our asshole of the week.
Right.
And like I said, it's a revisit from 2016.
My Christ,
way back.
That was
from
forever ago.
Our first 10 weeks.
Holy tits! Have we done this that long?
Yes, and this was the episode that made me want to quit the show. I almost quit the show because
was this 18?
This was 10. Basically, I didn't like the way we covered it, and I thought we could have done better. And B, this was like our lowest downloaded show. We had a few weeks where it was okay, and then this one was like nobody cared. Like one day we had literally 8 downloads for it.
Oh, I thought it was 18.
It was 8, and I just was like, why are we doing this, Jimmie? What the fuck are we doing? Why are we doing this?
Can we stop, Jimmie? And I'm like, no.
And then the next week we did
James, this gets
Ryan
me out
Leaf.
of my house.
Yeah, the next week we did Ryan Leaf, and people started getting a little more involved, and then it kind of took off from there, I think. So, but this broke my heart. So let's get into it this time on a higher note.
Outstanding.
It's better. It's Mark Rogowski,
okay.
Gator.
Gator Rogowski.
Gator Rogowski. Mark Anthony Rogowski is his full name. Born August 10th, 1966. Now, Gator's born in Brooklyn. Okay, he's born in Brooklyn, but he moves. It's funny because they moved to San Diego when he was 3. Okay. His parents get a divorce, apparently kind of an ugly divorce. As he moves with his mom and his older brother to San Diego when he's 3, and this could have been such a different story if he would have stayed in Brooklyn. Just everything with an accent would have been hilarious. Just, he might not have skated, and this might not even have been a story, but it would have been hilarious because just all this with a heavy New York accent. Yeah. So anything he says, any quotes we have, imagine it in place of like, hey, bro, California. Just imagine it was him going, I don't know, let me tell you something. That's the way he said. Just imagine that, and it's a much funnier story.
He moved to San Diego in 69.
In 69, yeah. That's what I mean. Moved to California in the late
69?
Glorious.
Beautiful.
Cheap still.
Yeah.
Like California was still cheap. People moved out there because like, cheap rent.
Right.
Like literally that was a reason for moving there.
So awesome.
Sunshine. Yeah. Hippies.
San Diego weather in
the 60s. People just glowing in the sun, loving their lives.
No traffic.
Oh, probably not
Smiling.
yet. No, smiling, cruising along. 5 p.m. on a Wednesday, just cruising. Hey, how you doing? Waving to
50
people.
miles an hour up PCH.
Waving to other people on the freeway because you see the same people every day. Hi, Ted. How you doing, Bill? And you just keep fucking driving.
How's the kids?
Oh, my wife's got dinner on the table. Need to go now. I know it's 69, not 59, but that's how I picture it, though.
Hell yeah.
Or basically the Brady Bunch. That was L.A., but that was, California in the early 70s is the Brady Bunch.
So awesome.
Yeah.
So lucky.
That sounds great. This is better than growing up in fucking Poughkeepsie, New York. I'll tell you that much. Beats the shit out of Wappingers Falls, New York.
Grew up in Southern California in the 60s. That sounds awesome. Well, the 70s, I guess.
I have a cousin who moved. My cousin, he moved. He's older than me, and he moved in the 70s. First, he moved with his mom to Buffalo,
Jesus.
which I'm like is terrible. And then in like 1979, they moved from Buffalo to L.A.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm like, that must have been
fish out of water.
That must have been just like, what is this? There's this yellow beam coming from the sky. I don't know what. Oh, the sun. The sun that? Whoa.
How does this place exist?
There's warmth. I feel warmth coming from the sky. I don't know what this is. I've lived in Buffalo.
How does this place exist on the same plane as that place?
Oh, my God.
Why aren't they all here?
And then, like, the next year, the Lakers got good. Like, he had, like, took a nice teenage childhood. He had fun in California. Could have been Buffalo. Could have just been sad. And nope. But that's what this guy did. He escaped.
So good.
He escaped it. So, they move. It's in San Diego County. Escondido is where they move.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, very
short corduroy white shorts. That's what I see everywhere.
I'm seeing white people in strip malls. And, like, this is some
tall socks with the yellow and blue around the top.
Kind of Valley Girl type people, things like that, that sort of thing. Now, Gator gets into skateboarding because that's what he does. In case you're new to this episode, he's a professional skateboarder. We've talked about Christian Assoy a couple months ago. He'll come up in this also.
Of course, I remember.
Christian Assoy actually plays a pivotal part in this whole story taking place. Through a very casual thing that happened, Christian Assoy set some dominoes in motion that bring us to now.
Christian Assoy passed off some of his shit luck.
Well, he did. Well, I think maybe it's the other way around.
Oh?
Because Gator had the shit luck first.
Okay.
Gator's a worse person than Christian Assoy by far. Christian Assoy's like a nice man who got caught up in his own bullshit, I feel like. That's what it feels. That's the general sense. I don't know him, obviously, but Gator, I feel like, is an asshole who got caught being an asshole.
When we did the Assoy episode, a guy from, I don't want to say where he's at, he does radio somewhere in this country, he messaged me and said that Christian Assoy banged his mother at one point.
That does not surprise me. These guys were laying cock around the country like you have no idea. They showed up and they were rock stars. They would show up and there'd be tons of girls, groupie girls from 15 to 40, just wanting a piece of these guys. So they'd show up. They were going to skate anyway. It's a hobby. It's not like, they didn't start like, well, this is a profession. I'm going to go to school for electronics. Like, it's what they were doing anyway. And then they're going to get paid and have every girl on earth want to bang them. This is a
fuck it. Of course,
crazy.
That's what we do.
Yeah. Who the hell wouldn't want to do this? This is great.
I mean, there's another path? Why isn't everybody doing this?
Seems wonderful. Just get in the pool. What's wrong with you fucking people? So he starts skating at age 7. So that we're talking a very early adopter to skateboarding and taking it seriously. At 7, we're talking 1973.
Right.
This is way early in the skateboarding world here. This is, we've talked about it even in the first episode. This is, the equipment's different. The wheels are weird. This is not, they didn't catch up to the demands of what some of these kids were doing and shit like that.
This is an interesting time in America too, because the muscle car trend is kind of starting to taper off.
It's going to die off in about 2 years when the gas crisis hits. It's going to,
and it turns into
75
the ugliest cars on earth.
And
so from that, it turned into like BMX riding and skateboarding,
things, avocado refrigerators, and fucking yellow countertops, and I mean, we're talking an ugly time in history here.
This is bleak.
Nice brand new brown Torino you got there. Wow, that's pretty sweet.
I dig your pickup truck / car in your El Camino. That's a fascinating vehicle.
Do me a favor, park it next to my AMC Pacer because I want to see the difference in length.
and my very short wheelbase van. This is weird.
Wow, strange.
This is a strange vehicle to
over,
own.
sure.
Why do I have this? Because the A-team has one, and I've got to have one too.
Because I need to throw children in the back to lure them in with candy and then steal them. That's why.
Such a weird time.
So he gets into it at 7, so that's highly early, and his older brother influences him a lot, as we'll get into here, because he says that, and we'll do a quote here. You know what? Let's start off right off the top. Let's do it in their own words, because it's him kind of feeling sorry for himself a little bit.
Already.
Just a little bit. And, he's also giving credit to his brother. And so we'll do that. Let's do an in their own words here. In their own words, quote, I grew up without a father from day one, and my brother kind of filled that gap. He was a bitchin' influence on me. He made me a good baseball player and an athlete in general. What was cool was that he was stoked I was skating too. Skating was somewhat deviant.
Wow.
There you go.
What a thing to say.
He was a bitchin' influence on me. Don't you want to just use bitchin', and have it be
stoked.
Not have people be like, did he just say he was bitchin'?
In the same quote.
Just stoked and bitchin', bro. It's, now.
What a Southern California thing
Brooklynize
to say.
that. I grew up without my father from day one. You understand? My brother, he kind of filled the gap in like that. He was a bitchin' influence on me. Let me tell you something. He made me a good baseball player and an athlete in general. What was cool was he was stoked that I was skating too. Skating was somewhat deviant. He was stoked about it, though.
It feels so weird.
He's pretty bitchin'. I'm just going to tell you right now. He's a bitchin' guy. It's funny, right? It's way different, isn't it?
It hurts viscerally. It's internally. Totally that stings so hard. A New York guy saying tubular. It's fucking hilarious.
It's fucking tubular. It's pretty radical. You know what I'm saying? It's a bitching kind of thing, and I'm stoked about it. That's all I'm telling you right now. I got nothing else to say.
Hell yeah.
I'm stoked. They talked to one woman here, a woman named Evelyn Madison. She knew her husband was his little league coach.
Yeah.
Was Gator's little league coach here.
Okay, yeah.
And she says about Gator, quote, he was just an ordinary kid, full of laughter, good looking, athletic. No one would ever dream of the direction his life would take. And then their son, who played on the team, said, quote, he was cool. I knew he smoked some pot when he was at the beach, but he never got so strung out on heavy duty stuff. He hadn't become a Jesus freak yet, nor had he become famous. He was well known as a skateboarder and a surfer. I went surfing with him many times. Mm-hmm. So he was, even as a child, he was known in the area as like, that's that kid who's really good at surfing and skating. Yeah. Everybody knew who he was.
He can get you a little weed.
And he's going to smoke some weed. He's also behind the ramp smoking. Yeah. See that cloud coming. So that's that kid who's really good at it. Yeah. Smoking weed and skating, both.
Him and Christian Soy both smoking at young ages.
Yeah, it's California in the 70s, and the 70s were a different time. Mm-hmm. 70s were very much a time when a lot of parents, and especially this was kind of, it's a stereotype, but it happened a lot. Like if you hear Adam Carolla's story when he always talks about his youth, this is kind of how his mother raised him, kind of free range. It was
so cool.
It was just kind of like, you gotta let the kids do their own thing, man. Yeah. You gotta let them do their thing. You can't come down on them, and then it's going to be a hassle, and they're going to be, don't be the man.
So that's
don't be the man to your own kid.
That's
it was
SoCal latchkey. That's entirely different from Arizona white trash latchkey.
Oh yeah, that's just like, well, good luck. Hope you get home tonight.
Right.
Hope hey, watch out. They'll kidnap you and sell you in Mexico now, and they slam the trailer door behind you. That's a different story.
It was. Don't worry, they'll bring you back in 10 minutes if they take you. It was that kind of thing. Because you're worthless and a piece of shit.
Big. Show them you ain't got all your fingers. Right. They ain't gonna want you. That's how you're gonna be worth less. They're gonna bring you right back.
You're a discount child.
Yeah, whereas these people were like these hippies who, it was kind of the mid-70s. The hippie thing had kind of gone past, but they still had the mentality of that, and they took their hippie values and put them on their kids, because they were now putting this into practice of don't be a hassle on your kids. Don't be like your parents who are,
be a drag, bro.
Teaching you all the institutions, man. Let them run free. If they choose to go to school every day and do well, then that's their road.
Remember how bummed out you were? You want to be bummed out too? Come on, man.
So, if they want to go out and smoke weed on the beach when they're 9 and skateboard, then you just let them do it, bro.
Right.
Like, that was kind of the attitude everybody had. Not everybody, but kind of a lot of the beach kids had. That was where they came from. That's why they were allowed to do that shit. So, he said he was skating by the time he was 10, he was really, really skating hard. He said he didn't have a lot of friends, though, which is weird. I would think he would have a lot of
older friends?
That's the thing. I guess if
maybe he didn't have peers, but he had like friends.
Probably, yeah. And if you're
associates,
if you're skating better than all the kids your age, and you're skating with kids that are older than you, you're not their buddy. No. You're like, that's that kid who's good, but then they're going to go hang out with that kid. They're not going to go, hey, we're having a party later, come over, 10-year-old.
They look weird.
Yeah, and whereas you're not even with the other 10-year-olds, so your interests aren't there. So I could see being a social outcast there. He says, quote, I was a social outcast back then. He says, my fellow skater friends were all hyped on the surf thing. Who had what board, the newest OPs, Ocean Pacifics, I assume, and who had a Hang 10 shirt.
Hell yeah.
Then there I was running around in tough skins, They were all wrapped up in the fashion and those types of superficial interests. They ended up fading out, and I fucking lasted. So... he has he's also, other kids around him have more money than him, and he's very aware of that.
Because he doesn't have a fucking job.
No. Their families have more money than him. Like,
got it.
Yeah, kids at school and shit have more money than him, and kids he's hanging out with have more money than him. Because there's, San Diego, Southern California, there's areas with a lot of money. A lot of times
if you're
near these
SoCal established, the family's got dough, man.
That's what I mean. So he said a lot of these kids had more money than him, and he felt like he didn't. So he really felt inadequate in terms of the only thing he could do was skate and surf better than all of them. That was the thing that he had.
Outperform them.
Basically, yeah. My shoes may suck, but you can't do what I do with them, so fuck you, basically. There was a skate park locally, and he found... That's when he really got into skating. Like, this is when he found his niche and his groove. He found a skate park to go to every day with a bunch of other people who were taking it seriously. And this is like a comic finding a little club that he can perform at all the time. And there's some other comics he gets along with.
And they allow it.
And they allow it. Yeah, they're like, no, do 20. Right. But I only have like 15. But you know what? You're going to stretch it to 20 tonight, motherfucker. Get up there and do it. And do some crowd work if you have to. And that gets you better. Right. That's what I mean. That's kind of what I think happened here. Is what it was. So he says, quote, these guys were so into it, having such a good time, sweating and laughing and creating and cracking jokes and just snaking each other. Okay. Whatever that is. It was just snaking each other. You know what I mean? Stick it right up his ass.
Smack each other in the dick.
Hey,
I don't know what that is.
Hey, take your dick. There you go. Smack your dick.
Get snake out of here.
Get your snake going. He says, when they went into the bowl, their expressions changed into a going into battle expression. Going for it. No holds barred. When they popped out of the bowl, they'd get a smile on their faces and a yelp and chime. It was hot. Yeah. So, yeah, he's talking about just everybody... Wow, some California to modern day dictionary. Just everybody was having fun when they'd swim in the pool. That's what he's saying. They'd swim in pools, and everybody went for it and didn't care about getting hurt and shit like that. And then they were excited when they were done.
Skating pools.
They were skating pools. Right. Did I say
swimming pools?
Swimming pool. Well, yeah, they were going to swimming pools.
Got it. Yeah,
but not. Yeah, they weren't like swimming in the pools. These are in swimming pools, minus water.
Yeah.
It's hard to skate in the pool with water.
It is tough.
It doesn't work as well.
No,
it's just very slow. A lot safer though.
Makes it a lot easier to do those flips and shit.
Way safer. Yeah. Way safer. You'll never hurt yourself. So he says, Tony Hawk talks about this time too, because he was around. This is kind of, Tony Hawk knew him from a young age, and this is kind of like the Hosoi thing. Yeah. They keep going back to Tony Hawk and asking him questions because he's the only skater that people now still know who he is that was around back then, sort of thing.
How weird is that?
I mean, skaters know who he is. If you skate, then you know. If you skated, you knew, but not like mainstream people. If you say professional skateboarder, they go Tony Hawk.
They go number 2.
Yeah.
Fucking don't know.
That redheaded guy. He's a snowboarder. Shit, I don't know then. Should say. I mean, that's being honest.
Yeah.
Honestly. Go that guy that's had a show on MTV for 20 years where people do dumb shit. Who's that guy?
He just made shoes. That's it.
Fuck. Okay. Yeah, that's the guy. Shit. All right. Never mind. Tony Hawk. Did I mention him?
Tony Hawk Jr.
It's Tony. Does he have a son? Tony Hawk Jr. Is his daughter skating? Somebody?
Is there a Tanya Hawk?
And he plays a Tad Hawk, his son. It's my son, Tad Hawk. I don't know, man.
Jesus.
Yeah, he's the guy who's still around. It's amazing how, I guess he's like the Babe Ruth, just so people that don't know who he is. He's the Hulk Hogan of fucking...
It's very strange that market didn't create a number 2. And it's only because Hosoi fucking went to prison for it. There could have been a number 2.
There could have been a number 2.
There could have been Hawk and Hosoi forever.
Yeah, and he kind of, the market kind of collapsed on it just as it was getting big.
Right when it was exploding.
And Tony Hawk is like one of the only ones who came out the other side intact. Yeah.
Paid.
Everybody else kind of a new generation emerge.
Well, he also is very marketable and sellable to middle America.
Oh,
do you know what I mean? Like, he's so
guy.
wholesome.
He's very clean cut. Yeah, he doesn't seem
to swear.
He's not giving the finger to the camera like Mark Rogowski is. We'll talk about. Gator turns into like he's the punk rock kind of everything. Every picture of him, he's like giving the finger to the camera. He's like, "Fuck you." All his quotes are like, "I love getting arrested, bro," like shit like that. Yeah, seriously, he has quotes where he says, "I love getting arrested," which is okay. Crime in sports, stamped. Yeah. You are our kind of guy, I guess. Whereas Tony Hawk would be like, "Oh, well, no. I mean, the cops would once in a while they'd ask me not to skate in a particular location, and I'd of course oblige, and then I'd skate somewhere."
You guys are right. This is very unsafe, and I am trespassing. I should leave.
Take it to an authorized location. Thank you, gentlemen, for alerting me to this. Actually, because I don't want to be of any like that's how they picture Tony Hawk. Whereas Gator'd be like, "Fuck you! I just pissed over there. Yeah, eat my dick, copper," and he'd like skate off into the street. Catch me, pussies. Yeah. Right. It's like a different kind of guy completely. So if you're a skater and a punk ass kid, you like that.
Yeah.
Like
that was what the skateboarding was, just a fucking, it was a middle finger in general to society, because you're grinding on public facilities.
Yeah.
You're doing tricks and stuff that damage public things.
When I was 12, I thought Tony Hawk was lame. Yeah. When I skated, I thought he was fucking lame and boring. Yeah. And at the time, I mean, he was a huge, I just thought he was fucking boring. Yeah. I was like, he's lame, man. Like you wanted a guy who was like a little dangerous. Yeah. You didn't want Tony Hawk. He's boring. Right. So he's good, amazing and technically great and all that sort of shit. But as a kid, he just wasn't fun.
No.
So Tony Hawk says about this time, quote, "This was a great time for us. We were making a ton of money. We flew all over the world. There were skating groupies at every stop. It was pretty cool to see a bunch of guys from San Diego County at the center of this huge thing. No doubt we were stoked." Yeah. Everybody's stoked.
Oh, boy.
By the way, the documentary on Gator that, I mean, there's a ton of information from everywhere, but some of it comes from that. It's called Stoked, The Rise and Fall of Gator from 2003. So you can check that out here. We're talking, he wore a beret. We talked about last time in Gator. He's wearing a fucking beret, bro.
That's silly.
Like with like pins on it and shit. And later on, he'll have like, 4 swatches up his arm. Yeah. Swatch watches. He's the rock star douchebag of the crew here. Later on,
did he have bandanas tied around his thighs too?
Oh yeah, total like he's an '80s tag team wrestler.
Yeah.
Like he's in the Rock and Roll Express or something. So
all his pieces of flair.
Oh yeah, he's got tons of flair. Gator had so much flair.
He did.
He really did. Yeah. Like if he crashed and fell, like shit would have came off of him in every direction.
Like pinata.
Yeah, it would look like literally like mini Snickers shooting off of him. Every pins, buttons, things, watches, fucking suspenders popping off, everything. Now in 1980. There was it's a Vans amateur skate state finals for California in the 11 to 13-year-old division. This was before he turned 14 in 1980, and he's in the top 5 in that. He comes in 1982. He's first place in the Canadian Amateur Skateboarding Championships in Vancouver, which was kind of a big deal and made him gave him a name.
Kid can't even drive a car legally with a permit, and he's flying to Canada and winning things.
He's kicking ass.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, as a teenager. I mean, he's making big money. 1984, first place it's a national championship thing at Del Mar in 1984. Big deal. This is when he starts, he is 18 years old and he starts making money. This is when he Vision Streetwear. Yeah. He starts skating for them. He gets endorsement deals. Gullwing trucks were one of his endorsements, which they still fucking make Gullwings.
Get out of
awesome.
Here.
Yeah, I bought a pair.
Oh, that's right. You did. Yeah.
After the Christian Assoy episode, full disclosure here, I got back into skateboarding and I haven't broken anything yet, which is great, but I was like, I have health insurance now. I can fucking do this. So, and my daughter wanted a skateboard, so I got her one and I was like, oh, I want all these old boards. Now they have reissues of the old ones, but with the new
spin on it.
With the new shape, with the good shape.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Caballero board. I got the old Caballero with the dragon
on it. It's the coolest thing.
It's fucking cool as shit. So anywime, these boards were a big deal and I got a Gullwing trucks is what I'm saying.
So
I found a pair of Gullwing trucks.
Slime balls.
With slime balls. Right. Yeah, with slime balls.
Awesome.
I got some of those and I got new ones too, but I got like a classic board where I'm like, sweet, I'm going to put some Gullwings on it, some slime balls. So, he's getting a shitload of money here. He's starting to make, $5,000 a month on just
God, that's so cool.
Truck endorsements and stuff like that. It's just, he's all over the place. Even like Vision made boards, Vision made shoes. We talked about it in the first time. They look like Converse All-Stars with an ollie pad. Yeah. And then they had different ones. But Vision Streetwear, they looked at Gator and they wanted him to be their guy because they were trying to be rebellious and shit. And they looked at him like he dressed like a lunatic. Yeah. And he has got a beret on. Half the time he doesn't have a shirt. Other times got shit tied around him, flare all over the place. Yeah. So they said they wanted to make him his own line so he would look the same all the time, basically. So
uniform.
Continuity of style is the way they put it. We want him to have a certain look that people can then emulate. Right now they can't emulate what he's doing.
Also, not having a fucking shirt on is costing you money every month, because if you put a shirt on with a design on it,
put a fucking shirt on.
They'll fucking buy the shirt.
You stupid shit.
Asshole.
It's like, bro, I just like the sun on my back. It makes me stoked,
How much do you like houses?
It's just like pretty stoked about the sun on my back. You know what I'm saying?
You're going to have the sun on your back the rest of your life because you're not going to own a house.
Yeah, but it's pretty bitching, though, just to have the sun on your back.
You want to be stoked? Get some air conditioning.
I'm just going to keep the shirt off for now, bro. But the beret is cool. I'm going to rock that. That's fine.
Nobody's going to buy a beret.
You know what, bro?
Everybody wants T-shirts.
Hey, brother, it's pretty bitching, this beret I got, man. I just dig it, you know? I'm stoked about it.
Driving his marketing manager fucking mad.
They're like, geez, he won't put a fucking shirt on. I told him he could fucking sell them. He won't fucking buy them.
Prince can't even sell berets.
He says it's fucking bitching, or I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What bitching? He says it's bitching. That's what, right? Bitch, yeah, bitching. He said it's bitching. I don't fucking know. He's stoked. What do you want from me?
Prince has a #1 album with berets. He can't sell a fucking one.
Jesus Christ.
Put a shirt on.
A guy named Perry Gladstone, who owns skateboarding companies in the future here, he says, quote, Gator, Gator, Gator. Every issue of Thrasher, which is the big skating magazine, had Gator doing something. He was always a part of everything. There were Gator stories, Gator spreads, full-page Gator ads. He was a hero to us. We'd read about their parties, the girls. You got to understand, top skaters were like rock stars, traveling all over the world, living the life, and Gator was the wildest of them all. Yeah. That's absolutely true. Yeah, these guys were flying all over the world just to do an autograph session.
So great.
Big fat check, fly back home.
Oh.
Fat check, you know, hang out with whatever groupies they could find around.
I want it.
Do some drugs and then fly home.
That's
their job.
How the fuck did he get Gator as a nickname?
It's something from a cartoon, and also I believe something to do with the Gator on the shirts.
Oh, got
as well.
it. Yeah.
There's a different than a tie-in. It happened as a child.
Okay.
Nobody called him that, but it kind of stuck later on.
Understood.
So he said, he said that he loved being like this too. Gator, he loved it. There's an interview in Thrasher where he talks about he talks about how there's a picture of him, and he says on the left side of the picture there's a bum with a bottle or a junkie with a needle hanging out of his arm, and on the other side there's a skater skating it out, trying to climb, basically do wall rides, sweating it out and cussing at the wall, and bam, fucking forging reality, pushing his body up the wall. I don't know. He said it's a real productive way of venting some harsh aggressions. Instead of breaking a bottle and slashing somebody's face, you're throwing yourself at a wall with sweat dripping in your eyes.
With a couple of junkies.
Okay. So those are the only two options.
Right.
Just either.
That's your audience?
Yeah, I used to skate. I wasn't skating to not slash somebody's face. That's the thing. I was just it was pretty fun. I didn't do it. I do it now. I'm not like, I really want to slash a guy's face.
It's either this or that.
Fuck it. I guess I'll go outside and skate, I guess. Fuck it.
It's a vast reality difference.
It's a big difference. Yeah. His board becomes such a hot property at one point. There's an article from 1986, and this is like the precursor to remember in 89, all the articles about people stealing Jordans?
Yeah.
And that was a big deal.
Right.
They have articles about how people are stealing Gator skateboards.
It's awesome.
It's like a big deal. There's one from Pennsylvania. It's Lancaster Township here from 1986, and the headline of the article is "Teens Take Skateboard Worth $150."
That's just
back
one.
then. Yeah, well, that's everything, trucks and wheels and all that shit. And they talk about how this kid was a Peter Stein. He was 15. He's a paper boy, and he's delivering selling newspapers, and he stopped and he left his board out on the curb to go put a paper up. And as he's walking back, a car pulled up, and somebody opened up the back door and snatched his skateboard off the curb.
Bastards.
Yeah, it's a Vision Gator, his mom said, and they're very upset about it.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah. Now, Gator here, Jesus Christ, man. He kind of lives up to his reputation a lot, too. There's a ton of like little arrests that we have no way of finding because he spends nights in jail in towns he's in and then blows town, and who knows what happens.
Just one arrest overnight.
Disorderly conducts and crazy shit like that, because he really, well, let's tell the story first. It's an event called Mount Trashmore. Okay.
Boy.
Which that sounds skatery.
Sounds 80s skatery.
80s skatery. Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about Simply Safe.
SimplySafe.com. SIMPLI Safe.com.
That's right. We love Simply Safe. Simply Safe is our choice for home security. It's comprehensive, professional home security at a fair price. And right now is the best time of year to get a Simply Safe security system. Our listeners, you know what they're going to get, Jimmy?
What?
A free security camera plus a huge discount on their security system.
Great.
They can't beat it. You know why? Because they protect every room, every door, every window with 24/7 professional monitoring. They give you a smart lock and a video doorbell that defends your front door from people coming up stealing your stuff.
Yeah, keep Santa out.
That's right. You know Santa steal. He takes some back sometimes. Yeah. Inside, though, they have an arsenal of sensors and cameras. They cover every inch of your home. So if there's a break-in, they can give real-time video confirmation to the police so your call doesn't go to the bottom of the false alarm thing with the cops. Instead of that, they say, oh, no, we see now they have a big sack of stuff, and you better get over there.
See that red coat.
And the police get there 3.5 times faster.
Right.
It's going to save you. Plus, Simply Safe makes it easy on you. There's no contract. There's no hidden fees. No fine print. Prices start at just $15 a month. It's fantastic. It's unbeatable. Visit simplysafe.com/sportscrime to get a free camera plus Simply Safe's holiday savings. This offer's for a limited time only, and it's ending soon. So visit simplysafe.com/sportscrime. That's SIMPLI safe.com/sportscrime. Simplysafe.com/sportscrime today.
And now back to the show.
Now, the event is in the middle of going on, and Gator is up soon. It's his spot to skate soon on the ramp, and he is not there. No. Finally, about 10 minutes before he's scheduled to skate, he comes barreling in his car into the parking lot. And he's trying to get in real fast, and I don't know if he doesn't have the proper credentials or whatever the case is. The people running the parking lot are not letting him through and telling him he does not have the proper credentials to drive through and to go to the skating apparatus here.
Bro.
Yeah, so he just pushes through with his car and fucking keeps going. Okay, so not okay. All right, so he just figures, whatever, I blew off these rent-a-cops, and that's that. They chase after him. He's giving him the finger and all that kind of shit. Problem is, they're actual police officers.
Oh no!
You can't just push by them in your car.
No.
So he gets to where he needs to be. He parks. People see him. All the kids see him parking and shit. They're like, "Hey, it's Gator," and people are cheering for him. And behind him comes a gaggle of cops to talk to him. And so the kids are all watching this. All these kids there at the skating competition are watching. There's Gator. Why are all these cops chasing him? What's going on? So they see that the cops come up to Gator and start yelling at him. You can't fucking do that. And what are you doing? And blah, blah, blah. So all the kids start booing the cops and throwing shit at him.
Of course.
That's their hero. They want to see him skate. Don't yell at him.
Right.
And they're all, this is their opportunity to live the whole fuck the police thing. And, all this shit's like, yeah, we can fucking rebel.
Right.
And there's a whole crowd of us. What are they going to do? So there's thousands of us. So they're yelling at Gator. Gator hauls off and punches one of the cops.
You definitely can't do that.
You really can't do that.
No.
That's super illegal. But the crowd goes, yay! The crowd goes batshit crazy for him, like he just won a heavyweight fight.
Right.
And the cops then have to subdue him. And then the crowd goes, boo! And starts throwing shit. It turns into a fucking half a riot.
Oh, no.
Because they're going to take him away in cuffs. He's on the ramp in 5 minutes. That's who they paid to see.
Yeah.
What are you fucking doing, assholes? Let him on the ramp. I don't care what he did. You shouldn't have been chasing him in the first place. He's our hero. Is the way they're looking.
Ticket, and then you're going to arrest him over it.
And then he punches a cop, which makes them happy, and then they're accosting him. And this causes, they had to keep the kids back. They're throwing shit, rocks, and things, and kids are ready to riot over it. And
these are teenagers with probably arrest records.
Well, these are punk ass teenagers that have an attitude, and they are worshiping the guy who has the most attitude of everybody. And then so it's a bad crowd to piss off, basically. So he does, though. The kids go crazy. There's a teen riot. It was bitching. Let me tell you, it's pretty bitching. Other than that, I can't say much about it. I was stoked. So
Out of berets.
In the Stoke documentary, berets flying off from punches. In the Stoke documentary, they talk to all these skaters at this point who every one of them has a story about, we were in this town and he punched a cop. We were in this town and he fucking, kicked broke the bank's window in the front of the main street of the town. Like, he's crazy. Everybody has the crazy Gator Road story of he's a lunatic and he's a menace to society and he's apparently punched cops in municipalities all across the United States.
But as thus and so far, the only people that are suffering his wrath are people telling him not to do what he's doing.
That's the thing.
They're police. They're the authority figures. Authority figures
and people who it's all as Omar might say, it's all in the game for everybody. Him getting arrested for fucking off and them getting, having to deal with his bullshit. It's kind of all in the game for everybody.
Shouldn't have taken this job if you didn't want to
deal with this asshole.
Right.
Yeah, it's one of those things. That bothers me, by the way. Yeah, when someone can't deal with people. As a cop, I feel like your number one job, and I'm not a cop, obviously. I don't know the pressures of the job, but your number one job is to deal with people. Right. And diffuse shit. Right. Like, that's their job.
You're a public babysitter.
That's it. Right. That sucks. Yeah. That's a shit job.
It's a fucked up job.
That feels like that's the fucking job. Yeah. Like, watching Live PD the other night. Right. Again, we'll go back to Live PD here.
Best show on TV.
I'm watching it. It's in Indiana, and they pull this dude over in his driveway. As he's pulling into his driveway, they pull him over, right?
Oh, he's in a car.
He's in a car, and they pull him over, and he admits right away that they said, hey, this plate doesn't match your car, and he goes, it's my other car's plate. I just got this one. I switched it. My bad. Yeah. I know it's wrong.
I'm trying to hide from you.
One of those things. You got me. Give me a ticket. Whatever. It's not a big deal. Not the end of the fucking world. No. It's not a stolen plate or a stolen car. It's his plate.
It's mine.
It's just the wrong car.
Not for this car.
Yeah, it's fine. He wanted to go to 7-Eleven quick, whatever. Right. So, by the way, we'll get to 7-Eleven in a second. Remind me of that. Okay. So, as he's being pulled over, his white trash family starts pouring out of the house.
Yeah.
Right? And one of them is this teenage kid. And this was just this past weekend. And this teenage fucking kid, and he's got a mouth on him. Yeah. And he's out there cursing. He's like, this is fucking bullshit and blah, blah, blah. He's on his own property. He can say whatever the fuck he wants to that cop because he can say anything he wants to the
Freedom
cop.
Of speech.
That's what he said. And the cop goes over and he tells him, he's abusing the cop. It's
he's giving him a dressing now?
He's giving him the fucking business. You know what I mean? He's doing what these kids were doing. That's what it reminded me of. So the cop goes over and goes, hey, watch your fucking mouth, blah, 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 blah. And the kid goes, freedom of speech, man. And the guy goes, that's fine. Yeah, it's freedom of speech. He goes, but keep your goddamn voice down. Or keep your voice down, he tells the kid. First of all, no. Unless it's a public disturbance. He wasn't at that level. Right. He was speaking like I am now, probably. Right. That's how loud he was.
Get off my property,
fuckface. That's what I mean. So he's like... So he goes, and he goes, well, freedom of speech. And he's like, yeah, we'll just keep your voice down. The cop goes to go back to the car. The kid turns to walk the other direction. The kid just goes, go fuck yourself. Not at the shouting level, at the same level the cop said was okay. Yeah. When he said, well, fuck you then. And he goes, all right, fine, then you can say that, but say it at that voice level. He said, go fuck yourself. The cop turns around, goes over, tackles this teenager and starts cuffing him. Hands behind your back. You're fucking under arrest. Now at this point, the whole rest of the family comes out of the house. Yeah. The fucking mother starts freaking out. Police brutality, these goddamn motherfuckers and son of a bitch. And there's an old man with suspenders and a big white beard who's like grandpa. Yeah. He comes out, what's going on out here? Why are you taking little Timmy down? And fucking another guy who's like her, brother comes out. Anyway, they end up, fucking 5-10 other cops end up coming. Yeah. The mother's yelling and screaming because they're jacking this kid up for saying, go fuck yourself. They end up tackling the mother, which then sends the other guy in. What the fuck? So they shove him down and then they cuff him. God. They end up tackling the old man with the beard and shit and suspenders who can barely walk just because he came over. So what the hell are you tackling my daughter for? They cuff him. They took all 4 of them to jail. So he went from a situation where he could have just laughed it off. Right. He could have said to that kid, hey, what the fuck, man? Yeah. Chill out, brother. Problem? Jesus, you kiss your mother with that mouth? Get over here for a minute. What are we doing? That's all it would have taken. And the kid would have went, well, blah, blah, blah. He would have went, hey, man, I'm not a dick. Let's be fucking...
I'm not trying to harass you.
All it would have taken. And even if that, he would have even if the kid was still a dick, he could have said, well, each their own. Whatever. Let me finish my ticket. Who cares? Move on.
Your dad, I was maybe going to let your dad slide, but tonight for sure he's getting a ticket.
Instead, they had to have a my dick is bigger than yours competition and have 4 people that didn't need to go to jail and have all these cops have to tackle each fucking, they're all covered in mud and rain.
Ridiculous.
Pointless. And how much taxpayer money did 10 cops standing there for an hour take?
Even bigger
it's
question.
So stupid.
The people sitting in a studio, what the hell do they say to this? Do they not say, what the fuck is happening?
They went back to it and they were like, well, I mean, like they can't obviously rip the cop, but they were like, hey.
This show needs a counterpoint, man.
Yeah, they were like, and then the one guy, the middle guy, the Sticks guy, he says, I mean, just because everyone's in cuffs doesn't mean everybody's going to jail. I mean, a lot of times
I love Sticks.
you'll just cuff them and just to detain them and calm everybody. He goes, I don't think everybody's going to jail here. I think we're just going to calm everybody down, detain them. Then they go back to the cops and they're like, oh, they're all going for interference. The one like big bald fat fuck, he goes, they're all going for interference. This guy, he said, fine, take me to jail. And I said, fine, buddy, you're going. I'm going to let them all go for interference. It's like, is this helping?
Right.
Do you feel good now? Does it matter?
Your childhood dream.
Who fucking cares? That's what I mean.
Fucking jerk.
And then half the guys, and that's to one particular one. Then you go to like the guys in Rhode Island who are just like, hey, buddy, what's up? They handle it just like that. Right. That guy would have said, hey, what are you cursing at me for, buddy? Hey,
guys in Rhode Island are like, I hope you get that judge from fucking Facebook, and we get to watch the rest of this.
It's so I don't know. That kind of shit bothers me. But I mean, it's what I'm saying.
That's
like
insulting.
Sometimes things can be diffused, whereas guys like Gator won't let you diffuse. A guy like Gator would have socked the guy.
Right. And then you get like, Gator.
Now we need 10 cops.
Mixed with a guy that a public servant police officer job was his life dream.
Yeah.
Like he was dressing as 5 as a cop.
This dickhead's yelling at you for no reason.
Now you got those two going at each other.
Yeah, so it's whatever. Gator claims to have robbed 7-Elevens in the South.
Why?
He said he would get completely naked and rob 7-Elevens and then go get drunk in the woods while the cops looked for him. That was he did that for, I don't know if that's true or not, or if that was like adding to his legend of what he was trying to, because he was trying to add to his, he was big into his image. Okay. He knew that his image was marketable and he was into it, but he just liked living that lifestyle anyway, so everybody wins, I guess.
But
for
Gator,
him.
That's not even a Robin Hood story. That's just a drunk woodsman.
Yeah.
That's a weird story.
Cool?
No,
I get naked and rob 7-Elevens, bro.
They're not going to chase me. My dick's out.
You know what I'm saying? I can't be like, yo, red shirt, black pants, because I got no pants. Go outside, put pants on, fucking disguise.
What was he wearing? A dick. That's it.
He had some balls. I saw some balls. And as he ran away, he had an asshole. So there's one of those on there, too. He's got an asshole.
So there's one of those.
So there's one of those. We got all that covered. We have
unbelievable.
APB on a white male, dick, balls, and what was it? And an asshole on there.
They say he's got one of those on there too.
One of those on there. You want to keep an eye out for? Oh, he's gonna have an asshole. So make sure to. All right, over. So,
unreal.
Yeah, it's good street cred for him, for the guy who says that, this is a good way to take out your aggression without breaking a bottle and slashing someone's face.
I suppose.
So, 87, he's in the 3rd place in the Vision Ramp and Rage down south. So that's a big competition there. He's doing so well monetarily at this point, it's not even funny. Like, he's living a fucking dream. Mm-hmm. He gets, the way the boards go, he gets royalties on the boards.
Yeah.
Because it's, your board. He got $2 for every board, every deck that was sold.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the decks are selling for $50, but I mean, a lot of that is manufacturing, and it's just your name. But
it's still a brick and mortar store. You got to pay rent, all that shit.
So $2 for each board.
Pretty good deal.
He ends up getting, but there's some months where he's hitting 7,000 boards a month are being sold.
What?
So he's getting $14,000 a month royalty checks, $15,000 a month,
just for the deck.
Just for the deck.
Wow.
That's not the clothes. That's not the competitions, the autograph signings. All of that shit is all extra. This is just for signing a thing saying, I'd like to, my name goes on your deck. Here's the art design I'd like on it. And then you get $14,000 a month.
Again, another comment from the Hosoi episode that this is all equipment that has a wear and tear lifespan on it.
And if you're skating hard,
you are
a pretty low lifespan.
It's
quick.
Right. You do it out in the street and you stumble and flip your board back into the road. A car runs over it. Now you need a whole new deck.
I've seen that. It's very sad. I'm like,
it is heartbreaking.
It's the saddest thing ever.
You're walking home. That sucks.
Jesus. That's miserable. Your mom's never going to buy you a new one. That was your board for this year.
8 screws to take the trucks out of that.
That's the only thing. I remember my friend carrying it all limp.
God,
we could take all the trucks out. So, he's making a bunch of money. Also, Vision and all that sort of thing. He's first place in the Vision Bluegrass Aggression Session, 1988.
That's too many SH sounds
Kentucky,
in there.
I suppose, or something like that. He's got. I mean, they have all the merchandise too. He's in all these videos too. That's the other thing. All these skate companies put out all these skate videos.
The Vision Streetwear one was so cool.
That was cool, but the Powell ones were awesome in the 88, 89. The Bones Brigade ones were really great. The street ones, and then they had all the H Street had good videos later on. But a lot of these skate videos were cool as shit. He's in those, and he's a big seller for those. There's Gator fanny packs. Oh, if anybody has a Gator fanny pack from the late 80s that they still have, take a picture of it. At least send us the picture of it, because I really want to see a Gator fanny pack.
He really missed a boat. Probably. I don't see him putting out much Gator print anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the alligator print. He could have fucking destroyed with that.
Yeah, no, he had his own thing that he was doing. That kind of, we talked about it in the first episode, that kaleidoscope swirly board that's, by the way, re-released like crazy now. Yeah. You can get those anywhere now, no problem.
It's awesome.
They're everywhere.
Is he getting a chunk of that, you think?
He might be. I'm not sure. I mean, he can't, I don't know. That wouldn't be profiting off his crime, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't know what the rights were back then, if he also had rights to reissue, you know what I mean? I'm sure they fucked those guys over, once it was sold, that's your $2 and eat dicks from then on. Like anything else is on us, probably. I doubt he had that far ahead, where if we reissue him 30 years from now, I want to cut. Like, I doubt he ever said that. No one ever thought that would happen.
What are the words that are in the Bobby Bonilla contract that make him get paid for fucking ever?
What, in perpetuity?
Yes. Yeah. I doubt that's in
No, there's no in perpetuity. You're always going to get this. Now, he says, this is fucking great. He says, quote, "Not only am I the most unique, dynamic, versatile skaters on the circuit, but I'm also one of the most blatant and outspoken jerks." He says, "I love getting arrested. I'm one of the most illegal skaters in the circuit."
All right.
I love getting arrested. Well, he says that's at the end of a quote where he talks about how, anytime they run like an article about what a jerk I am in one of the magazines or something like that, just ups my cred. Yeah. He says, so blah, blah, blah about what an asshole I am. And then at the end he goes, "I love getting arrested." Just helps me.
So good for me.
Yeah. So in, now 1987, peak of his powers right here. I mean, fucking everything is going well for him. Money coming out of his ass. He's doing what he loves, and he's doing it hanging out with his friends too. Yeah. That's the weird thing. It's not like he met all these people later. He grew up skating with these people. These are people he met along the way that,
He was fucking 7, James.
Yeah, that's what I mean. This is like, if everybody from Second City in the fucking mid-70s went to SNL. Like, they all came up together. Like, that's what they're doing. They're all on SNL now, and they all were doing improv for $20 a show a couple years before that. So
wild.
It's kind of cool. That's got to be fun.
Yeah.
You, your friends, girls, partying, everybody likes you. So he's 21 years old in 1987, doing great, top of the world. Was California sun shining down on his golden tan skin.
California Dreamin' plays over and over. It's on repeat.
It never stops. In his head.
Yeah,
that's all it is. It comes out of his board as his wheels turn. He goes to Scottsdale, Phoenix area, if you're not from here, for a skating tournament of some kind.
Where the hell would that have been?
I don't know. There was some event here in 1987. Who knows? Somewhere in the desert.
They probably put up boards and shit somewhere.
Where they probably put it where they stuck that fucking soccer field now, that pop-up team
at the river bottom.
Here you go. Here's some bleachers. Enjoy.
That couldn't look more temporary.
It looks it looks temporary, as in they put it up for today, and they're going to take it back down at the end of the night when this is over.
Because who knows if they're going to have another game here next week?
That's honestly what it looks like.
No fucking idea.
It looks like if they were having a fair and they're setting up like a side stage for John Cassidy and the Beaver Brown Band that they're going to take down the next day. That's what the soccer stadium in Phoenix looks like.
It's hilarious because if you've ever been to the Renaissance Festival out in way fucking east, out there in the middle of fucking nowhere,
East Valley,
they never break that down because they know that shit's coming back.
And no one else wants that land. It's desert in the middle of nowhere. It's fine.
But that shit, they pack it all up.
This guy, it's so fun. That place is ridiculous too. And they're always like, they really need to get a permanent stadium. And everyone's like, no, that's fine.
We're all right.
No, taxpayers aren't paying for that. What are you kidding me?
No.
No. Silly rabbit. No.
And it's awesome because one of those guys listens to the show, and he doesn't play for them, for the Rising. He plays for another team, but he was here visiting, playing them, and he was like, hey, I'd love for you guys to come out and sit on our side of the stadium. That's just pretty fucking great. Extra
thank you.
sting for that temporary ass shit.
Our side of the stadium.
Come sit on the blue side.
Jesus Christ. It's Little League. It's not Little League. It's professional.
Right.
So the players are wonderful. It's not. I couldn't do that. They're great. Nothing against the players.
James, Little League stadiums don't come down.
That's true. They keep those up all year round. They have more staying power in the community than their stadium over there.
It's hysterical.
They're like, we could just deflate it, right? And take the bleachers down. Yeah, right? We don't need that this year.
Pull down those cardboard signs. I'll be all right.
That's fine. We're going to have a farmer's market here on Saturday. Tear it down for the farmer's market. Put the tomatoes right down in the south goal, please.
We got bountiful baskets here at 7 a.m. Saturday.
Ridiculous. Oh, my God. So, 1987, he comes to town for a tournament. Mm-hmm. And he meets a young lady that we'll get into here. Two young ladies come to this tournament to see the skaters. They like skateboarding, and they want to see the guys. They like seeing the guys. These are like, they think they're real attractive, handsome guys. These are teenage girls. Right. They're 15, 16 years old. So we're talking, fucking teenage girls who think sophomore and junior who think the skaters are hot. So they're from Tucson. They're going to drive up to Phoenix for the big skating tournament and look at all the hot dudes. Basically, that was the plan. Okay. They're both from like kind of wealthy families. They're both tall, attractive blonde girls from kind of, upper middle class families. The one's father's a lawyer and that sort of shit. So they do okay. And they're coming up here to hang out and to see the whole thing.
To get a guy to bring home to dad that he's gonna fucking hate.
Some guy with hair and a beret giving him the finger.
No shirt and
fuck you, Dad. What's happening? This is Jessica Bergston and Brandy McLean, and Brandy with an I.
Yeah.
So the 80s version of Brandy.
Side ponytail,
blonde hair, and an I on the end of her name. 80s is shit. Brandy McLean, Jessica Bergston. They come, and while they're at the tournament, they end up meeting. Actually, Jessica ends up meeting and becoming, I don't know, whatever with. I'm not going to speculate on the nature of their relationship, but for lack of a better term, hooking up with, whether in a sexual or just a hanging out way, we don't know, but hanging out with Christian Hosoi. Yeah. So they end up getting together, okay? So this is all coming full circle here. They're hanging out for a little while that day. They end up deciding to introduce her friend Brandy to a skater that he knows, Mark Rogowski. So they introduce him to Gator. They introduce her to Gator, and they hang out for like that week, that night and everything like that. You got Christian Hosoi and Jessica, and then Brandy and Gator. So that's the way this works. Now, Gator and Brandy hit it off like crazy.
Right now.
Now, she's like 15, turning 16. He is 21 years old.
Right.
Not okay.
It's illegal.
Yeah, as we said it in the first episode, not crime and sports approved behavior whatsoever. Illegal and also just not cool.
No,
both.
And as coming from a family that's successful, she knows that. It's fun for her. It's exciting.
Well, he's the bad boy, though, and she likes the bad boy.
Right.
That's
he's bad, thing. All right.
He's the bad boy.
That's terrible.
He's older. Yeah, that's the thing. It's not. Some things are legally wrong, but they're morally like, who cares? The Josh Gordon situation in some states would be that. And some things are morally fine but legally wrong, like if you kill a pedophile. You know what I mean? Like that's everyone's going to pat you on the back, but you're still going to go to prison for it. Whereas this is just wrong on all.
Oh boy,
no one outside of the fundamentalist Mormon sect of the fucking northwest corner of Arizona. This is not okay. Northeast corner, wherever the hell it is.
Southwest corner of Colorado.
Outside of Warren Jeff's house, this isn't all right. This is bad behavior.
Outside of the 50-mile radius of the four corners.
Yeah.
This is terrible.
Exactly. What was it? Colorado City.
Don't slam my city with that
like
shit.
The white trash one is Springs, the other one's City. Okay, that's what I got. White
trash Springs, white fucking gross city.
White slavery city. White trash Springs, white slavery city. Got it. Okay. Just checking. Just making sure.
That's right.
Okay, that's the town slogan, actually. Not to be confused with white slavery city. Now, they became a couple very quickly. She says, love at first sight. Just hit it off, loving everything.
I got news for you.
Yeah.
That ain't love.
Well, yeah, and
it's affection.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. And he takes her. He keeps flying her to California, which she's a teenage girl, and she's being.
How the fuck is she pulling that off?
She has some very lenient
James,
parents.
Pre 9/11.
Well, it is a pre 9/11 world we are talking. That's true. Post 9/11, none of this would have went down. None of this is happening at all. Listen to last week.
Pre 9/11.
Why we're saying that?
Fuck, you can get right on a plane.
You could just get on a plane and go see your adult boyfriend and have sex with him, and your parents were fine with it.
State lines.
Your parents were fine with it.
Okay.
The law was okay with it. Apparently,
we'll be right back.
So yeah, he flew her all over. We'll talk about that in a second. They became a couple. He asked her to move in.
Oh.
She's 17 years old.
Yeah.
And the parents let her move there.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. It's a Carlsbad. They're moving to.
Beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. At one point they're like a block away from the beach.
Oh Jesus.
It's nice goings here.
At 17.
Yeah.
What would you do at 17?
That's what I mean.
A very successful girl.
Oh,
at
I don't blame her.
Is like, come stay with me.
I don't blame her at all. I mean, I could see her being taken with.
What a dream.
This is excessive for any teenage person, girl, boy, anything to be able to just look beyond this is asking a little much of them. I think
it's a lot to ask.
It's a lot to ask. We're talking, this is practically Elvis coming to the house,
right?
To her, that's what this is.
Exactly.
So it's like this is a big deal. So you can't blame her, but he has to know. Oh, that's illegal, and there are adult girls that I could go out with. But
there are girls that are not, I don't know, a third of my age younger.
Girls,
that's so bizarre.
I don't know, who aren't worried about their chemistry final. That's, that sort of thing. Things of that nature. Who aren't worried what period their lunch hour is going to be this year.
Unreal.
Jesus Christ.
That are much more, forget lunch hour, that are much more comfortable with their period.
Yeah.
She's still like, wow, this is so weird.
What
At this point, this is bizarre.
Yeah, she's still like, I don't know. What's going on?
I'm not even
there?
sure which one I like. Do I like pads or tampons?
I was going to say,
she's still
uncomfortable with
decision.
tampons.
Right.
Like, I don't want to stick it in me.
We are so ignorant to girls' issues.
I've heard some girls would have that issue where they were like,
they had to wait till they were like 20 to figure that out.
Fine, I'll jam it up in there. It is easier. I don't know. Seems easier, but yeah, you do have to hold on.
Juggling the decision. Do I just be disgusting and let it all fall in there? Or do I just fucking preemptively get it to soak up there?
Fucking jams up. It seems like a very personal decision of
God,
whatever you're okay with. And
I hate that making that decision.
Women, I salute you.
God bless you.
We don't have that at all. That's the other thing to add to your cousin driving and breastfeeding and pumping and putting in a cooler at the same time. She could have been bleeding out all over the place too. So there's a lot going on.
She's probably still wearing those giant underwear that you got to wear post.
She pulled it together, brother. So there's an article here, by the way, that I'm going to get a couple things out of by a guy named Lyle E. Davis, and I only give him credit because a lot of this shit is like you can get it anywhere. But he had his family kind of had some dealings with Mark when they were younger, so
very personal.
He had a personal take on it, so I give him credit for some of that stuff here. Now, Brandy said they were just having the dream life for a young partying couple. She said, quote, "We would get high every night. We wouldn't do coke every night, but we'd do bong hits. We'd go to the sandbar at the end of his street and get screwed up. Then we'd hang out in his jacuzzi, get drunk off our asses, and go in and have wild sex all night."
Oh my God.
That's his life, everybody.
What a life.
That's his life with a smoking hot teenager. That's this guy's life that he's fucking living. And that's her life that she's living. That's a great life for anybody that age. It's fantastic. Jesus Christ.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
I mean,
is that what your life was when you were 22?
Exact.
Just like that, right?
Carbon copy.
I think it's the jacuzzi. I'm like,
sandbar.
I can't do coke every night. Right. I mean, that'll take its toll on you.
I've always dreamed of going out on the ocean to find like a sandbar that's, I don't know, a mile out, because those fucking exist, where you can get off the boat and just wade in like waist high water and then just drink beer during the summer. This chick was doing it at 17.
I'm not sure if it was that or if it was maybe a bar called the Sandbar.
Oh, it could be.
I think it was a bar called the Sandbar at the end of his street. is what it says. So that's
I don't know. They were blocked from the beach, though. She could be going out on the sandbar.
You know what? I'm going to say
she's under 21. She can't get in that bar.
Well, he can in that neighborhood. Rogowski. Yeah, that's what I mean. In that neighborhood, it's okay. He's going to walk in. They're not going to ID his girl.
I want answers.
You're not going to get any. So he spent tons of money on her. He flew her all around to all these competitions. His brother, Matt Rogowski, says, quote, he flew her to Brazil and to Europe. These are, expensive flights.
Destinations.
He bought her 2 cars. Which is a lot.
Yeah.
Quote, she was a gold digger, but when they were together, they were absolutely in love and you could see it. So that's... kind of the way this goes.
Is she a gold digger or is he offering shit up?
Yeah, that's the thing. Well...
You know what I mean?
Okay, at this point, we're not sure. Mm-hmm. Later on, I'm gonna give a little more evidence, and you can judge for yourself. Because wait till you see where Brandy ends up later on. Boy. But that's beside the point for now. But.
I'm just looking at the point of sometimes if you've got somebody that's hotter than you and you know it, you go out of your way a little bit to spoil them.
I think they like her brother said, when they were together, they were absolutely in love. I think they were totally into each other. I think he had a bunch of money and didn't give a shit and threw it around. And I think she was enjoying living the lifestyle as anybody would, and he was enjoying it as anybody would. And at the time, their money was flowing, so who cares? Enjoy it. So I don't feel like it was she was thinking I can't stand this guy, but I'm going to let him spend money on me. I don't think that's what it was.
That's where
I think she was in love with him, and it's awesome. He's rich too.
Right.
Or that helps.
I dig him, and he takes care of me in excessive ways, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he's got to understand that he's in a profession that's a fad and a goddamn not sustainable one.
Well,
and he's got to be careful.
That's the problem. And he starts taking himself very seriously around 1988. Very seriously. Yeah. He starts taking his business things very seriously.
Okay.
Which is good, except when your whole image is built on not giving a fuck.
Seriously.
And that's what's made you of something. When you all of a sudden turn Johnny Corporate, then, your audience will turn. If we all of a sudden started doing Blue Chew commercials and all this shit that we said we wouldn't do, and we're doing whatever the fad of the minute is, our audience wouldn't stick around.
No.
They'd be like, this isn't what they said. This isn't who they are.
Telling us about kale.
They haven't cursed in an hour. Because they're trying to tone it down for the advertisers.
Right.
We've been told that, hey, you guys will get more advertisers if you're less filthy. And we go, that's nice. Stick it up your ass.
That's not us.
We're going to do the fucking show the way we want to do it, and you can suck our dicks.
Can you have James tone down the weed talk? Because that is not going to get us. Well, what about...
Guess what? When we were at Podcast One, they tried to, at one point, they tried to get us to do a clean show.
Yeah.
They said, can you guys do a clean version of it? And we were like, no. They were like, well, if you do a clean, Stone Cold Steve Austin does a one version, then a clean version. We're like, we're not Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Can I forward you to our Instagram page of that sounds terrible?
Yeah, that sounds terrible. We don't. They also wanted us to break the show up into 4 parts and release it to you guys over the course of the week, which would be annoying as shit. Why don't we just alienate our entire audience?
Spike your numbers.
Yeah. No. How about let's just build them slowly.
Do it the right way.
That's what we've been trying to do.
What if we were just honest with them?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
What if we did that?
We're fucking trying. We're trying. But this is kind of when he starts seeing himself. He starts talking about having a modeling career at this point as well.
Nope.
Because as we'll talk about, he changes his name now. Okay. Still goes by Gator.
Yeah.
But he drops the Rogowski. Because that's kind of a hard
Polaki
That's a
thing.
Polaki name. Yeah. You sound like you're from Eau Claire, Wisconsin if you got that name. It's a little much. So he's like, that's not cool. But the way he puts it, he goes, also, that's my dad's name and fuck my dad.
All right.
He was never there for me, so I'm dropping that shit. I'm just going to be Mark Anthony.
No.
That's his middle name.
Oh, boy.
Just now he's Gator Mark Anthony.
So he goes with Gator and then
he's still Gator because that's his nickname. That's his whole shtick. That's what it says on his board. He can't drop Gator. But Rogowski doesn't matter.
He makes Gator his first name.
Yeah, he's Gator Mark
Throws Mark
Rogowski.
the middle name, Anthony the last name.
Gator Mark Anthony now. It's much more modelly and sexier, right? Hi, I'm Gator Mark Anthony.
Sounds like a fucking Latin guy. Isn't that J-Lo's
I feel like that's,
name?
yes, yeah. Because I need to know. Yeah, that's who he is now. Mark Anthony.
Unbelievable.
I think that was that guy, but yeah, that's that guy. Real ugly guy. Somehow fucked J-Lo. I don't know how that happened.
Got a clothing line at Kohl's.
Wow, that's amazing. That's how understanding women are. J-Lo fucked that guy.
Right.
Good God, what happened there? She woke up and went, what am I doing?
Right.
Jesus, I'll just get some meathead with really nice arms on it. A-Rod, yeah. Hey, grab him. He's fine.
I mean, the girl from Mad Men just divorced a ghoul of a man, too.
It happens.
I forget her name. Hendricks. Christina Hendricks.
The redhead.
Yeah. Her boyfriend or husband was the dude from Super Troopers that was like licking the
yeah, that's not going to last.
No.
It
feels like I just found out this week that we ran out of supply of whatever drugs that man was using. So she woke up and filed divorce.
She's not hallucinating anymore. Ran out of mushrooms, but done ran out of shrooms. So he's changing his name and he's trying to be more of a cool like image and shit like that. And the kids are like, huh? What he goes from, there's no he doesn't make a big deal out of it. Just 1 week in the magazines, they're talking about Gator Mark Rogowski. Next week it's Gator Mark Anthony.
Yeah.
People are like, who
the fuck is that?
Is that Gator still? It looks like Gator. Right. I mean, why is he going by that name? It was just a weird thing that everyone's like, all right, I guess he's Mark Anthony now. Whatever the fuck, who cares? It's one of those things. Like nobody gave a shit.
How
but
French of you.
Yeah, whatever. But he's still one of the most famous skaters there is. It's Tony Hawk. There's him. There's Hosoi. There's a few of these big guys. I mean, he can walk into any place and any surf or skate shop, and they'll just give him shit. Like,
That's
you're
awesome.
Gator, here, take some wheels, some trucks, whatever you need. Like, hey, cool, mention us somewhere, right. That sort of shit. They didn't care. He says that he had tons of girls around him too. And I think maybe that's why Brandy was there all the time. Because if I'm her, I'm thinking, I ain't letting this fucking guy go on the road. I know what he's about.
Right.
I'm probably going to go with him, I think.
How did I meet him?
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those, so she ends up, living with him. It's at this point where he's 89. He's in Gleaming the Cube.
Yep.
The Christian Slater skating movie.
I just saw that again recently.
Oh, fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. It was on Amazon Prime.
So long.
It's
the Asian brother.
Don't watch it, Jed. You're gonna get so upset.
I remember how bad it was.
Yeah.
I remember even as a kid knowing it was bad.
So cool to me as a kid, and then I watched it again. And I was like, oh God, you guys are such bad actors.
All I remember is his brother, huge Rams fan. Apparently, is it?
The whole family.
They all have Rams hats on.
Just everything. NFL
all the time. LA Rams shit. Like, what? These are really aggressive Rams fans in this movie.
Good news is that kid died before got to see the whole thing.
Yeah, moved to St. Louis and come back again. He'd have been happy now.
Right.
So, he's in Gleaming the Cube. He plays one of Christian Slater's stunt doubles because he's a shorter guy, about the same size. In that movie we talked about, I think Hosoi was in it too. We talked about it, and Tony Hawk and Mike McGill and all his guys.
And then that redhead kid that is in a bunch of movies. He's like but he never smiles in anything.
Yeah, he's always like, I don't know.
Right. Yeah. He always looks like his back hurts.
Yeah. I don't know. I got back pains. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Was he the guy from Drugstore Cat? You never saw Drugstore Cat. I don't know. Never mind. He played the junkie.
He was in so many movies.
He's in everything.
80s.
Yeah. In the late 80s, early 90s.
So many movies.
He always plays like a dirtbag.
And I don't know his fucking name.
I don't remember
but
it either.
He's got a weird way of talking, and it's not like an LA or any Southern California thing. It's like I don't even know where he's from. It sounds almost like Jersey, but it's like a grimace that he's in pain.
Yeah.
And he can't get the words out.
Yeah, he's like if Michael Rappaport had a son.
Yes,
he'd be
that's exactly what he is.
He'd be that guy.
Minus opinions.
I don't know, just hurting. He had a son with fetal alcohol syndrome. It would be that kid. Michael Rappaport's fetal alcohol syndrome son.
That survived the abortion.
Yeah. I got a little dent in my head, but I survived it. You know what I mean? They forgot to put the pointy part out in the coat hanger.
My smile isn't quite straight because that's where they hit me.
They got it. I'm right, though. I'm here. He also appears in the Tom Petty Free Fallin' video, which we talked about. He's, when they show the half pipe, he's the fucking guy skating on the half pipe. It's fucking Gator, man. And his girlfriend, Brandy, is the girl who's cheering him on right there on top of the half pipe. The blonde girl, 80s, hot so California cute. Girl, blonde hair,
clapping and shit,
and jumping up and down while he's that's them. This is what I mean. You can't literally Tom Petty's in the foreground singing, and you're fucking doing moves while your hot girlfriend jumps up and down with rock and roll music. It can't get any fucking better than this, Grace. Grace.
Unreal.
That is as grace as it gets.
Right.
Tom Petty is singing to your skating. That's grace, brother.
It's the equivalent of 60s and driving a Lil Deuce coupe with fucking Beach Boys video.
With Brian Wilson waving out your other window. Jesus Christ.
Unreal.
He's also, he's in Club MTV also. They had, remember that? They would dance in downtown Julie Brown.
Still good.
And they had some little quarter pipe set up and they had him
He
like
would
going.
do that?
Yeah, he was like, for one episode, they had him like going up on quarter pipes and coming down like while people were dancing. I don't know.
Whatever.
And they show him, he's got like a douchey hat on.
Yeah.
Not a beret, like a Cuban guy's hat, like what a Cuban guy
a fedora,
would, like kind of like a fedora, but with the shorter brim, like a Cuban guy on the beach.
Oh,
picture an open Hawaiian shirt and one of those hats on with like a pork sandwich.
Like Tommy
That's what
Bahama.
we're talking about. Yeah, we're talking about that kind of hat. He's like wearing one of those,
Lord.
like all douchey. He's got like
pork sandwich.
yeah,
What?
Cuban sandwich? It's pork with pickles. And
I know
stuff.
what it is. It's just hilarious.
You like pork?
You went with the words pork sandwich.
Sorry, let's put some pork. Shopping cart jerk chicken.
Yeah, because if you said the word Cuban there, it would be redundant.
That's why I said a pork sandwich.
Pork sandwich.
Yeah.
I know why you did it.
Working.
It's just the two words together.
My brain was working.
Fucking stumbled me.
It's a weird thing. He also goes on the Swatch Impact Tour.
Hell yeah.
Which is, they try to make it this, it's ridiculous. It's basically the guy who runs Swatch tries to make this tour where it's like they try to have like fucking intro music and like, you know, like it's like a wrestling event, basically.
Fucking
like
pyrotechnics.
Yeah, that's what they wanted to do.
To sell watches.
To sell watches and have guys skateboard. And it was just a weird, it just didn't really work. But I mean, at the time, it was a good idea, I guess. But this is the time now, the late 80s, and we'll go over this briefly because we talked about it with Hosoi too. The fact that he's a ramp skater, vert skating, and that is dying right now.
It's not a thing for
It's not a thing. Yeah. Street skating in the late 80s, especially by like 1990, hit a hard thing where people wanted to skate on the street. You have to have a ramp to skate on a ramp. Ramps are expensive. You need a big space. You need someone who's built a ramp. You need to upkeep it. If ramps
you need
are
your dad's permission.
You need, as a kid, it's hard to get a hold of a ramp, is what I'm getting at. If you don't have, like, I didn't grow up near a skate park in fucking Wappingers Falls, and there's no skate park.
It wasn't
Nobody
in the
had a ramp.
city's budget like it is today.
No, that's what I mean. Nobody built that shit for kids. It was, it was even private companies, they'd be like, oh, the insurance on one of those. The kids are all going to kill themselves. Yeah. So, I mean, street skating, everybody has a curb near them. Everybody has a park bench. Everybody has shit you can figure out to skate on. So street skating became a big thing. I know from my opinion, that's the only way I skated as a kid.
It's still a thing today.
Oh, it's the big thing because you don't need a fucking ramp. And even now there's skate parks everywhere, and they kind of have a hybrid style where they have like these street courses that have like rails and shit where it's kind of like has rampy elements, but on a street.
Very shallow pool. Right.
Yeah, I would have fucking loved that when I was a kid.
Great.
But didn't have that. So, but Gator is a ramp guy, and he is not good at the street skating, and so he's kind of getting to be like, he's like at the same exact time, like picture he's at the same trajectory as the band Poison.
Oh no.
Basically, where like he's cool in the early 80s, and in 1987 it's really awesome to have big poofy hair and 19 swatches up your arm and all that shit. But by 1990 that shit was death. That was like the uncoolest thing in the fucking world was to be that. The second, Teen Spirit came out and some guy looked kind of pissy in a second Cobain had a dirty flannel shirt and looked pissy. Anybody who looked happy with big blonde hair was an asshole at that point. It just was over with. Yeah. And that's the same thing with skating. Like he represented that old guard of skating. Like when I came up, it was like, oh, those are those old people that skate, even though he's like, 24 years old. Those are those old guys. Like you want the young guys. So that's kind of what it was. And even Vision started to go downhill at that point. And I remember too, they weren't really making that many boards.
Nope.
They just had the shirt and then the shitty shoes was about it. And Perry Gladstone, the guy we talked about before, he said, quote, he was about Gator. He was really worried about becoming a dinosaur. That was an entirely new type of skating. It was rad, more amped, and all the kids wanted to be a part of it. It was rad, more amped, bitching, to put it another way.
A guy said that in a marketing meeting as a professional.
Rad, more amped.
He set a briefcase down and then said amped and rad.
And bitched and bitching and stoked in the same sentence. He said, but except for Tony Hawk, none of the old pros could really skate both vert and street, and Gator was stressed out about it. That's a fact. A lot of them later on, by the couple years into the 90s, they made the transition. A lot of these guys ended up, because they just had to. Your Lance Mountains and Ed Templeton did guys like that. But some of the guys couldn't make the switch. They just couldn't. Tony Hawk was actually pretty good at it. So he once Gator told his friend that he was stressed out, and he was worried about if he's going to have to quit skating at this whole thing. He told his friend, quote, I'd probably have some suicidal tendencies. I'd feel low and cheap. I'd feel like nothing. I couldn't exist. No way. I'd kill myself, lose my spirit. I'd float away and my carcass would get buried. That's what he said about having to quit skating. What's he gonna do? Get a job?
Yeah.
With what?
That's a hard fucking lesson to learn, though, right there.
Yeah.
That's really ominous words of somebody that's talking about their career, too, though.
Well,
that's
I mean,
painful.
if you're 24 and you're thinking I could be washed up, and I didn't even go to 10th grade.
Right.
Never mind, an education or experience in doing anything. All
my
I know
girlfriend
how to do,
likes cars.
Yeah, my girlfriend likes cars, and my area of expertise is punching cops and skating on a ramp. It's not a lot of jobs that pay car money with that kind of thing. So October 1989. This is this is bad times for Gator here. Yeah. He's in West Germany. This is when there were still two Germanys.
Oh, Jesus.
This is still West Germany, East. There's still a wall. 89.
I can't believe that was a thing.
Crazy, right? So he is in West Germany there. I'm sure more fun than East Germany. Seems like it. Mm-hmm. He's at a hotel hanging out and partying and, doing all of his shit. He's getting shit-faced, partying, going to a bunch of different parties. I guess there's a bunch of different parties going on. And what he ends up doing here, there's a second-story window. And now, apparently, from what... Jesus Christ. There's many different stories that how this happened. He's on the second-story window. His friends, some of the people there say that he announced to the room that he could fly.
Oh, boy.
And decided to jump out of this window and attempt flight. In an attempted flight, he jumped from the window.
Right.
And surprise, he can't fly. I don't know if anybody was on the edge of their seat going, did he make it? Right. He can't fly. It's pretty interesting. And he crashed down. Another person said he fell out by accident of a window, and then somebody else said that he was actually trying to climb back into the room from the first floor, got all the way up, crawled all the way up there, and then fell out when he was trying to get in the window.
The one thing we do know is that he fell.
He fell from a second-story window in some way, shape, or form. Right. We're not sure, but he almost died.
Oh,
he landed on a wrought iron fence.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, which is why you don't want to fall out of windows in West Germany.
Oh, fuck.
It impaled his face, neck, and thumb.
What?
He was impaled on the fence, literally stuck on the fence.
Did we talk about this last time?
Yeah. Not in this much detail. That's why we're doing this.
Oh, my God.
And then the final thing.
His fucking face.
In his face, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Wrought iron fence. Face, neck, thumb, just impaled, hanging off a fence by all his shit. Horrible.
Holy shit.
Horrible. They patched him up a little bit and sent him home. He spent just his next few months just going to plastic surgeons over and over because he's still worried about his modeling career.
Yeah.
He almost died. Fuck your modeling career. You almost died.
Wow.
Maybe this is a wake-up call.
You're lucky to have both your eyes, motherfucker.
And that's the thing. And he also has a bit of a head injury after this, too, because he hit his head. I mean, when he was impaled, he hit his head. And his behavior changes. And much like a boxer who's had like 5, fights that went the distance in a row, and we go, wow, his behavior just totally takes a left turn at this point. This is when everybody says he's a weird, different guy now. He turns into a different guy, falls off. And by the way, he's been undiagnosed bipolar this entire time as well. We'll find that out later when he goes, later on when he gets looked at. But he's also has mental issues. But at this point, he's got a pretty good injury, and it fucks with him.
I feel so bad for him right now.
Right now, this is terrible. I mean, even if he did it to himself, it's still horrible. He goes home to recover. They said he looked the same, but he acted completely different, sounded completely different, spoke in a different way, like his speech patterns changed.
Just stabbed a new guy into it.
Different guy, head injury. Yeah. Like he just turned into a different guy. He said, one of his friends said that he said to him, quote, this is Gator talking to him, quote, Jesus Christ spoke to me through that accident.
Oh, boy.
I was a blind dude, but now I can see. I was a blind dude, but now I can see, and it's pretty bitchin'.
Yeah.
I was a blind dude. Yeah. To add dudes and rads and blinds and, like fucking bitchins and shit into the Bible is hilarious. That's even funnier than making it Brooklyn.
He just needed an antenna to speak to God, and he got that in the form of a fucking wrought iron fence
sticking out of his face. Yeah.
Wow.
That's beamed down the word of the Lord. So at this point, by the way, breaking a rule.
Yeah.
What is he doing? He's finding religion. Yeah. Not good. He's finding religion. Terrible move for him, especially, and it doesn't do well for him. He also buys a ranch at this point in the mountains by Tony Hawk. Yeah. Tony Hawk has his house out in the mountains, and he has a big ramp there, and they always show that. Gator buys this weird circular house, like Beverly Hills Cop 3. Man wants to live in a giant circle.
There are too many corners on this house.
Too many corners. Hey, man, the man wants to live in a donut. It's his prerogative. If man got the money to live in a donut,
you build a donut.
You build a donut. It was 3, right?
These are the wrong plans.
Was that 3 or 2?
I think it's 2. I don't know.
He goes out, sees a house under construction, shows up, pretends to be the supervisor, shutting the whole thing down because the plans are up, and then he just lives in the house.
Gets rid of everybody.
I love Axel Foley. That's phenomenal.
I think that's 2.
I think it's 2 also, because 1 was the pretended to be the reporter for Rolling Stone there to do an interview with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson can sit on top of the world, but as long as he don't sit in the Beverly Bomb Hotel, because there ain't no N-words allowed.
Brigitte Nielsen is number 2, right?
Sir. Yes. Chris Rock.
That's the one.
Chris Rock, I get $10 for cars, $20 for trucks. What the fuck is that? Sorry.
That's what it is. Brigitte Nielsen is that one.
Dump truck, I think he pulled up in. Okay, yeah, that's 2. So anyway, he's turning into a Jesus freak here, and he's got his new ramp and everything. He doesn't have a ramp. He wants to build a ramp, but they all skate at Tony Hawk's house and all that kind of shit. But Brandy, this is not the lifestyle she's into. No. This is fucking boring.
Jonah and the Whale, this sucks.
Yeah, this is boring. Right. They're hanging out just in the middle of nowhere, just hanging out, and like his friends will come over.
Where's the fucking coke?
No partying. They're not going to the beach. They're not doing all the shit that they normally do. She's just bored. Yeah. There's a lot of people be bored just sitting in the house in the middle of nowhere, especially if you're 20 years old. You're fucking bored. You're 19.
This isn't what I signed up for.
Exactly. He gets a friend of his. He finds a friend. He befriends a guy named Augie Constantino, who is what he describes as a ex-surfer turned born-again Christian. Yeesh. And he describes himself as becoming Mark's spiritual advisor, which sounds perfect. Yeah, he converted to... he said he converted to like evangelical Christianity too, not just like he was like hardcore born again. Yeah. He's like fucking Mike Pence up there. Boy. Yeah, turned into a real heart. Not just like, you know what, I think we should all be good to each other. And Jesus is nice. Like he was like, listen, let me tell you about the fucking Lord. One of those people.
Sit down.
Yeah. Also, too, at that point, he starts there's like Christian symbols in his skateboard designs and the decks. There's crosses on them. If you look now, there's gators with a cross on them and shit. It's weird. So he's really into the...
How'd you like to be in that marketing meeting? I got new designs, guys.
We'll put some crosses. You know what the kids love? Jesus. That's what the kids are into. So let me get this straight. The kids think you're lame now, so you want to put Jesus on them, and that'll make all the rebellious kids think you're cooler.
You nailed it.
Perfect. Great. This is going to be a fucking home run.
Yeah, you heard me.
Yeah. Great. Now, this guy, Augie, had suffered a head injury 4 years earlier.
Oh, cool.
that turned him into this as well.
Right.
So apparently, if you like extreme sports and you hit your head, you will turn into a Jesus person.
How did neither of these two idiots put that together, that they both have head injuries, and now all of a sudden...
Well, they see it. They do a chicken and egg thing. They're going, well, I got the head injury, which was a thing that made me see the Lord. That was just... It was just a calling. The Lord did this.
You saw it too?
You saw the Lord.
Me too.
Well, what did he look like to you?
Listen.
All right. Hold on now.
Wrought iron fence.
Let me tell you what.
I don't remember what he looked like.
Let me get a pencil. We're going to sketch this
out. Long hair, that guy?
That guy? Long hair?
Beard.
It's beard. You know the guy.
On a cross, scars on his palms.
Did he have a fish by any chance, or a loaf of bread, or
top of his feet bloody?
Like that?
That's
the guy.
Same damn guy.
Some bitch, I'll tell you what, man. That guy. I don't know why I gave Augie Constantino from the beach a southern accent.
We should clearly be best friends. And
let's get together.
We need to tell everybody about this.
Fantastic. So he says, quote, I was out in Hawaii. This is Constantino. I was in Hawaii out drinking with some pro surfers. After leaving the party, me and a friend of mine were playing chicken when he hit me head on doing 45 miles an hour.
What?
That's not a fun game. Quote, I guess I lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's say so.
The quadriceps in his right legs were severed, and it ended his surfing career. And he decided that it was a message from God, and that he should devote his life to Christ. That's what was going on.
James, his muscles came off the bone.
Yeah, that actually happened to Vince McMahon.
Really?
You know that?
Is
Yeah.
that why he walks like that?
No, that happened to Vince McMahon running into a wrestling ring. When you dive into a wrestling ring, when they slide in, you have to make sure your legs are up in the back, or you will that ring it's plywood.
Fucking,
so you hit
solid.
that full, you'll just, he hit it with his quads, blew out both his quads.
Wow.
And had to do what he had to do still in the ring.
Oh my God.
And then get back there and have to recover for 6 months from that. But yeah, I guess he hit the ring and blew out both his quads
Couldn't think
like
of
that.
a better guy.
But that's why all the wrestlers say they'll do anything for him, because they're like, that dude fucking finished what he finished the shit he was supposed to do with 2 blown out quads. We can't go bitch and say my leg hurts.
I can't imagine how bad that must hurt.
It's got to be the most. That sounds horrible.
It really does.
Absolutely horrific.
He played chicken at 45 miles an hour, that's 90 into a brick wall,
and lost apparently.
Wow.
So I don't think the other guy came out on top either. But,
no.
He became known as the skateboard minister. This guy here, Jesus Christ, this is ridiculous. He says, quote, "I met Mark just before he left for Germany," which was before the accident. And he says that he's a big church guy. He says he calls himself he runs a youth ministry and all this shit, this Constantino guy. He says, "I introduced Mark to a personal God, a God, the Father. Mark never had a father to speak of. I showed Christ to him, and as the Bible says, he's our own true father. So of course that appealed to Mark." Okay. Interesting. And this was around the same time where he changed his name to Mark Anthony. So the whole father thing is becoming weird here. Now, once he's all healed up, Gator, from his injuries, he decides to go full on with the preaching and the Jesus shit. And he starts hanging out with Augie and going down to preach things. This is when we start getting, and he's going down to the beach and people are like, "Oh shit, Gator, what's up, dude? Hey, can I get your autograph and stuff?" He's like, "Hey man, what do you think about Jesus?" So this is like, people want to talk to him, and then he changes the subject to Jesus. So they're like, they want to keep talking to him.
Fuck, man.
So they'll kind of like humor him about the Jesus stuff, but it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a little bit weird. It's kind of not fair.
No.
You know, it's not fair. You're luring them in with your fame, and I guess that's what people do. So
well done, Tom Cruise and John Travolta.
That's what I mean. That's what happened. He's trying to, this is early Scientology here.
Yeah.
He says another guy who's a friend of his says that it's a lot. It's a lot. He said Gator would tell people, like, tell the skaters, "I got to tell you about my secret friend."
Oh boy.
And people be like, "What are you talking about?" And he'd be like, "I have this secret friend," and they'd be like, interested because it's Gator, and then it would be Jesus.
Oh, thank God! I thought it was your dick.
That's the shit.
Oh Jesus!
It's my butthole. Here it is. Hold on.
There's one of those on you.
I got my butthole. Now, this guy says, quote, "I believe in the Lord, don't get me wrong, but Mark was just fanatic. Everything he said was Jesus this, the Bible that. He was way into it." He says he was a fanatic, but he was a fanatic about everything. That was just Gator. Mm-hmm. So people just thought, oh, this is just the latest thing he's into. Whatever he's into it 1,000,000%.
Right.
He'll have 4 swatches on if he likes swatches. You know what I'm saying? So they're like, maybe he'll just get over that this is his latest phase.
Right.
Whatever. You know,
I hope this is the same as those fucking swatches.
Yeah,
hope this goes away faster.
The person he really wants to get into this is Brandy.
Oh no,
because he wants to settle down with Brandy, and he says, hey,
can't marry no harlot.
Yeah, we need to be right with the Lord here. Right. He dragged her to church a few times, and she wasn't quite into it though.
No?
She says, well, let's let her tell you. Quote, "We literally had sex 5 times a day. We were so in love. Then he met Augie and started saying, we can't have sex anymore unless we get married. And I'm like, wait a minute. We've been going out for 4 years, having mad sex for 4 years, and we can't have sex anymore? I can't deal with this later." So she broke up with him over this.
Yeah.
Because he was like, "I can't fuck you." She's like, "What are you, nuts?" They live together. They've been together for 4 years.
Right.
The cat's out of the bag. You've been fucking her.
Right.
So, I mean, what do you do? When you take it back now? Sorry, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So Brandy moves, and this is just getting crazy. Brandy ends up moving in with her mother and stepfather, who moved to San Diego recently. So she moves down to San Diego and gets away from him. Augie here says about Mark, quote, "Mark was devastated. I think that it upset him even more than his accident in Germany. Look, here's an exact explanation of what happened to her." And then he starts reading about Jesus Christ. He reads Bible verses about it.
Oh no!
Says this is a good thing of what happened to her. Quote, Peter chapter 4,
Fuck
verse 3.
you.
Then you lived in license and debauchery, drunkenness, revelry, and tippling, I don't even know what that is, and the forbidden worship of idols. Now, when you no longer plunge with them into all the reckless dissipation, they cannot understand it. He says, there, you see, Brandy just didn't get it. Mark found a new life in Christ. So yeah, you're a fucking, if you're a scumbag and you find a way away from the scum, people aren't going to be on board with that shit because crabs in a bucket. That's a biblical version of crabs in a bucket.
Right.
Is just what he just said.
But he also took a passage from the Bible and said, see, this guy was living in sin, and then he found Jesus.
Yeah, and then she couldn't handle it.
She can't take that.
Yeah, because she's one of the crabs.
What the fuck, man?
That's what she said. So
no, tell me what happened. What happened is this girl got used to a lifestyle, and this guy fucking yanked the rug out.
He changed it completely, and was like, we're not even having sex. Never mind drugs and partying. Right. We're not even having sex anymore.
Right. I liked when you bent me over the couch
once
a week.
Church.
That was great.
Once a week sounds like twice a day.
Well, 5 times a day they were fucking.
Yeah,
who knows how many times they were
once
just
or twice by the couch, I figure, at least just while you're walking by it.
Right.
You never know.
Remember when I would put the laundry away and you'd fucking grab my ass? I loved that.
Yeah.
Do that.
That's the thing. So Gator, he breaks up. Brandy breaks up with him, and apparently she starts seeing one of his surfer friends, which he doesn't like, obviously. Gator started calling her mom's house as well, where she was living, and leaving messages on the answering machine. And she says, quote, Mark was crazy. He was calling me up, leaving me all these freaky messages. He'd growl, you bitch, you cunt, you're gonna fry in hell from your toes. Weird shit like that.
That's not very Jesus-y.
That's what I mean. This is not Jesus-y behavior. No. But this is his like rage, and
you can say that, but you can't push your penis inside her.
But you can call her a cunt. Yeah, and tell her she's gonna fry in hell.
I think Jesus would frown more upon that.
He'd be like, hey, bro, you already fucked her, all right? Stick it in her, make her happy. You know what? You can fuck the Lord in her. If you keep banging, maybe you can bring her over to say, I've been fucking better because Jesus is running through my dick. Running all through it.
Let me put this Jesus conduit inside you.
The power of the Lord. You know,
it's just so hypocritically stupid.
It's very hypocritical. This whole thing makes no sense.
It feels like, doesn't Jesus promote loving? You know what I mean?
I think usually that's his thing. He's got shirts and hats, I think, that he puts on.
If you keep fucking her and loving her and caring, it's much better than harassing her and calling her a cunt.
It's hard to, you know what? I don't think I don't know if there was like a Jesus preaching, I don't think he was like, and if they don't listen to the teachings, thou shalt call them a cunt until they listen. That will bring them to your side.
And you can't just do it in a normal tone. You must growl it.
You must growl it.
On an answering machine.
If that happens, it will be bitchin'.
Bitchin'ly growl cunt into a Panasonic answering machine.
Burn and fry in hell. Okay.
Fill a tape.
One night she came home, Brandy did, to find that someone broke into her house through her window, particularly her particular room window, and only took certain shit. Only took all the stuff that Gator gave her.
Oh, that's weird.
Just everything that Mark gave her is gone now. Obviously, Brandy said, I think probably Mark did this, right? How would anyone else know?
Everybody on board with that opinion?
It's all Mark, right? It's just my stuff. He left like rings and shit and money, pile of money sitting there. It's not. But he took a picture of me.
Took a Vision hoodie and nothing else?
That's weird. I don't know. So the police also suspect Gator.
Yeah, the evidence points that way.
Yeah, and somebody from the district attorney's office said, quote, he took it all back, including the car.
Oh.
He even took the car back, everything. She says, the district attorney says, quote, it's kind of like a typical teenage stunt. That's what you do when you're 15, 16 years old and you lose your first girlfriend. You want all your money back, every necklace, every ring. You know, give me my high school jacket and class ring back because we're not going steady anymore. Well, that's what he did and how he saw it. Mm-hmm. So that's what it was. He is so immature this whole time.
Oh God, yeah.
When I said he's 21, she's 16, they're probably on the same mental level. That's the problem with this idiot. Not that makes it okay, but
right. And then a wrought iron fence involved, and now he's 12.
Now he's 12 and an asshole on top of it. Now Brandy, after all this, she still was holding out hope maybe that he would come back to normal and they'd get back together again.
Of course she is.
Even after all this, which is because she's even had other guys and everything like that. She's going out with other guys, boyfriends. She's still like, maybe it'll come back around.
She's 20, James. This is 5 years of her life. That's a fourth of her life.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
A fourth of her life is wrapped up with this guy.
And one time she invited him out to, this is funny the way it's put in this article. She invited Gator to take her out to dinner. You want to go out to dinner and you pay for it? That's what that means. Invited him to take her out to dinner.
That's hysterical.
That's pretty funny.
Right.
But
I'd really like you to buy me food.
Yeah. Is that cool with you? So she said, though, as soon as they pulled out of her parents' driveway, they started arguing about it. And she said, quote, he was still so mad about the guy I was seeing. He's the one that told me to go out and find one of my surfer friends to party with. So I did. I found this hot little blonde surfer guy, 6'1". So that's that.
Oh, God, that's a fucking painful description. Oh, my God.
Jimmie just went,
you bitch. I just see me.
It's not even her.
No.
Jimmie just got hurt. That you bitch wasn't for her. That was just for...
That's just me seeing me at 21 telling a girlfriend, tough love, telling her, why don't you just go out and find somebody to date? And
you did?
And then who is it? 6'1", hot. What?
Jesus, blonde?
How dare you describe him like
fucking
that?
Asshole.
Hot little. He's 6'1", you bitch.
Yeah, hot little blonde. Yeah. The fuck? How
He's
big
amazing.
Who have you been fucking? Who's been coming over? You have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar over here? Who's shorter than that?
That was so painful.
She says, quote, and Mark was furious.
Yeah. Fuck. I get it. I am.
This I understand. He was driving out in the middle of this nowhere road out where my parents live when he turned to me with this really scary, serious look in his eye. His voice got all deep and, he sounded like the devil. He says, you know what? I should take you out to the desert right now. I should drive you right out in the middle of the night and beat the shit out of you and leave you there. No. And I would get away with it because everybody would know that you deserved it.
No.
You
don't... No.
Whoa.
I see A, I don't see B.
That is scary abusive insanity right there. Whoa.
There's the difference between me and Mark.
Yeah.
As I go, get out, I'm going to go home and drink myself into oblivion.
Whereas Mark's like, I should take you in the desert right now, beat the shit out of you and leave you there. That's not crossing.
I'm going to take it out on you, not me. That's the difference.
That's the thing. So, yeah. So he said, she said, I started crying and begging him to take me home right now. And I'm like, my mother knows where I am. And he took me back. So I believe wasn't it Jesus that said if she snubs you, stalk that bitch. I believe that was his teaching, right?
I believe you have to smite them.
Yeah, so smite her and then stalk her and threaten her as well. Eventually she'll come back.
Right.
If you threaten her hard enough, eventually she'll... I don't think that was Jesus. I'm not sure.
Especially if he's hot and blonde, she deserves it.
Yeah. So this scared the living shit out of Brandy. This is we're talking 1991, early 1991 here. And this scared the shit out of her and scares her to the point where she heads to New York for some time away. She just doesn't want to be around.
As far away from him as she can get.
He broke into the house. He's saying, I should beat the shit out of you, leave you in the desert. He's calling her cunt on the answering machine. Right. She's like, okay, I'm going to get 3,000 miles away right now and not deal with this for a while. She only told her mom and dad and her siblings where she was going. Mm-hmm. She told no one else, none of her friends even, because she didn't want anybody to tell him. Right. Because he can charm it out of them. And she didn't want it. So she said, I'm not telling anybody. I'm going. Now, that's smart. And that's smart to do that. Don't tell anybody. But the problem is she also didn't tell anybody, so no one else knows that he's acting crazy lately.
She didn't tell him that?
She didn't tell anybody like, hey, Mark's been acting nuts or whatever. She told her family that, and that's why I'm going to New York.
I'd tell everybody.
Nobody else, though.
It's fucking crazy. I'm getting out of town. That's where I'm going.
That's the thing. And then the problem is a friend of hers, Jessica Bergston, remember her?
From Tucson.
From Tucson. She moves from Tucson to San Diego a couple weeks after Jessica goes to New York. This is early March, late February 1991. Right. She moves from Tucson to San Diego. She doesn't know. All she knows is Mark and Brandy live there. That's it. She doesn't know anybody else there. Whatever. She moves there.
By this point, Christian spun out. He's
on so much fucking coke and shit right now. He's a mess. Heroin.
That timeline is a mess.
He's a fucking disaster. Now she knows no one else, so she calls Mark up. to say, hey, will you show me around?
Right.
Will you show me the sights? You know San Diego. She doesn't know Mark's been acting all weird because Brandy didn't tell anybody. She just took off to New York.
She's never heard of a wrought iron fence.
She knows nothing about all this. She just knows Mark's a cool guy. He lives in San Diego. Maybe he'll show me around.
Oh, God.
So she does. She calls Mark up, and he says, sure, I'll show you around a little bit. I remember you. You know, you're her friend, because they were very close friends. Right. They really were. Jessica's the same exact thing. Tall, blonde, pretty. Yeah. They're like carbon copies of each other and that sort of thing. They're the same type.
Got it.
Put it that way. Yeah, she says, Brandy says of Jessica, quote, she was an incredibly intelligent, free-spirited girl then. When she wanted to have fun, nothing else mattered. We would go to Mexico together, and she would get so drunk that she would leave me there. If I couldn't get into bars because we were underage and had fake IDs, she would leave me outside for 3 hours while she drank. But we were best friends. We were very much alive. It was like, quick, we're going to have the best time of our lives, and we're going to have them right now.
All right.
So they were party girls that like to go out, and Jessica seems like she's the wilder one. Even I don't know, but I mean,
she'll leave somebody for 3 hours.
Sit out here. I'm going to drink, bitch. Fuck you. Like, wow, that's hardcore.
Get in? Fuck off.
That's hardcore, man.
I got drinking to do.
That's some guy shit. That's what guys would do. Well, I'll see you in a few hours then. That doesn't. The girls would be like, "I'll sit out here with you." Yeah. Like that's really guy behavior. I like that.
Davidoff does a joke about that exact thing, that girls won't leave their friends at the bars, and he's like, "I've got 6 friends with me too. I'll walk the fuck out of here right now." And
guys will leave their friends. Yeah, they'll leave their friends anywhere. You could be in another state.
Fuck them. I drove, and I don't care.
They'll figure it out.
Uber exists. Goodbye.
Not my fucking problem. I mean,
how committed I am to getting between you and those jeans.
That's insane, man. So she is, she's hanging out with. She calls Gator, and then a few days later they end up getting together to go, show her the sights of San. That's the premise of this, to show her the sights. There's the beach. There's nothing else to see. It's San Diego. There you got the beach.
There it is.
You can follow that right up and down the ocean. Have a good one. The Padres play over there. I don't know what else to say.
Chargers, enjoy. Padres walk that way. Eventually you'll find the Rams.
And that's that. Enjoy. Bye. Mexico, L.A. Okay. Point that way, Mexico. That way, L.A.
There's shit
ocean.
In between all the way.
Yeah. L.A., Mexico, ocean, bunch of shit you don't need to know about. That the rest of the country. Doesn't matter. That's it. You've seen it. Yeah. Enjoy. So they end up having lunch at an Italian restaurant in La Jolla. So that's nice, showing her a nice sight. And then they, on the way home, because they were going to hang out, they're going to go back to his condo and hang out. Yeah. So they stop. They rent some movies. It's 1991. Right. It's movie renting time. Yeah. Pick up a couple bottles of wine. Right. Hang out and drink some wine, which, again, it's... recreational wine drinking isn't as Jesus enthusiastic as it could be.
The blood of Christ.
In Catholicism, not evangelical. They don't play that shit.
No, they drink Chardonnay. It's the piss of Christ.
Yeah, they don't fucking play that shit. They drink grape juice. That's what they do. And they're like, blood of Christ. It's like, nah, come on. So they do that. Now, while they're in they're there. Apparently they hang out. They drink some wine. She smokes a joint, hangs out, smokes a joint. Right. They're just watching movies, partying.
Unwinding and getting loose.
And he starts to feel a buzz going on. Yeah. He says he starts feeling a buzz from the wine. So apparently he says he was going out to the garage he can't find his key. He's going to drive her home, he's saying, and he can't find his key. So he's looking for his key, and he says he's going to go find his key. And he leaves, and at that point, she's in his living room, just hanging out, waiting for him. When people go to do something in your house and you just have to wait there.
Oh, it's awkward.
It's like you're in a waiting room in an office. You just have to look at their pictures.
Like when you go into your bathroom to go piss and brush your teeth and get ready for this, I just stand in your kitchen and go, dum-de-dum.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
This is weird.
Yeah.
I'm in James's living space.
That's fine.
Alone, and I'm awkward.
At least we know each other.
I come here for the past 2 years, and it's still weird.
She's never been here before.
Right.
So for her, it's like, I guess I'll look at stuff. So she's looking at a picture on his mantle, which is his what he calls his favorite picture. It's a picture of him skydiving. Yeah. It's a picture of him in mid skydive that somebody took as he was falling, screaming all
free falling, James.
Free fall. Right. Yeah, he's screaming and all that shit. And she's standing there just looking at this picture, and Gator comes back in behind her and walks up behind her and smashes her in the back of the head with a steering wheel lock, like the club.
Fucking club.
Yeah, one of those. Smashes her 2 or 3 times in the back of the head and then in the face with this metal steering wheel lock.
Oh, boy.
It's out of nowhere.
This is the least Jesus-y thing he's done.
So they haven't had an argument.
No.
There's been no disagreements.
No.
There's been, I'll take you home now. Sure, sounds good.
One could argue that banging a girl but without marrying her for 4 years is more Jesus-y than this.
Way more Jesus-y, especially if she was into it. Jesus Christ. I mean, you're just fulfilling a want. You're being a nice person. So she does that. She falls to the floor, bleeding, obviously. This is fucking horrible. So what he does is, and this is all terrible, everybody, so buckle up for this. This is bad stuff. He handcuffs her while she's bleeding and struggling to keep her consciousness. He handcuffs her and carries her upstairs to the bedroom.
So handcuffs her to like herself, like
handcuffs her hands together. Okay. Carries her up to the bedroom here. He then shackles her to the bed.
Oh boy!
At this point, he cuts off her clothes with scissors. Okay, now how fucking scary is this? By the way, first of all, the fact that you weren't even in a fight with this person, they just decided to do this, must be terrifying and extra terrifying. The fact that where did this come from? You're confused.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, you got in a big fight, you took a swing at him and he hit you. Like none of that happened. This is just, I'll give you a ride home, fine, and the next thing you know, you're bleeding.
We went to dinner, drinking wine. I smoked a joint, and now I'm getting beat.
This makes no fucking sense whatsoever. So, yeah, this is great. And then he's cutting her clothes off with scissors after he shackles her to the bed. I can't imagine the fear must be going through. So then, I don't know how else to say this. He rapes her for 3 hours.
Oh boy, that's too long.
I'm gonna. You know what?
That's
I think
too much.
Any amount is too much, but that is excessive even for
it's very
what's going on here. This is a lot. This is terrible. Rapes her for 3 hours.
Oh boy.
Horrible, while she's bleeding and terrified and shackled.
Horribly injured. Those things are so heavy.
Oh, no, horribly fucking injured. She is in bad shape. Yeah. This is disgusting. This is fucking disgusting. She's still conscious this whole time. She's not unconscious.
God,
that's the other thing. This is horrible. She's begging him to stop, obviously. She's screaming. At one point here, she starts screaming and she decides that's how she's going to end this thing. He won't stop, or I'm going to have to scream, whatever. Consequences be damned here. Yeah. If he kills me, or whatever he's going to do to me, but I'm not going to just take this. So she screams, and what he does is he gets a surfboard bag from her closet and stuffs her inside of it, thinking, I don't know, that would muffle the screams.
Right.
He sticks her handcuffed self in a surfboard bag, which has to be the most. Now you're in a fucking confined
it's a body bag.
That's what I mean. Yeah. That the worst. So she then screams worse because she also says she can't breathe now.
Right.
Because who knows? She's probably in some kind of, this is fucking frightening.
I can't imagine.
So he reaches into the surfboard bag and strangles her to, keep her from screaming. Basically, strangles her and till she's dead.
Oh boy!
So he kills her, Jessica. He then flips over his mattress, because it was bloody from the bed. Flips over the mattress to get that. He then puts her body and her cut up clothing all in the bag there. Everything, the handcuffs that he used, the club that he hit her with.
Worst thing to happen to murderers were pillow top mattresses.
Oh Christ! Yeah.
Fuck! What am I gonna do now?
Can't flip it now. Jesus Christ! Goes one well. I can turn it. I guess, and I guess it looks like it's at the foot of the bed.
Blood stay down there.
That's weird. I don't know. Oh, shit. So he throws all this shit in the trunk of the car, everything that has to do with the murder, and he drives into the desert in a place called Shell Canyon, way out in the desert. So it's like an hour and change outside of San Diego, off the 8. No, there's nothing there, as you know. This is the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Nowhere.
It's very much like the Vegas desert, the Nevada desert. It's vast out there.
It's vast and it's empty. And
if it's away from the ocean, nobody gives a fuck about it.
Nobody cares. Nobody wants it. It's desert. So he digs a shallow grave out there and buries her naked there.
Took her out of the surfboard bag?
Keeps everything else. Doesn't bury the, everything else in there, though. Yeah. Just her body, and just her naked body he leaves in the shallow grave.
What a piece of shit.
And takes everything else there. He then drives to Phoenix.
Really?
He just drove to Phoenix and back. That was what he did next. drove to Phoenix and back, discarding things along the way because he cut up the clothes. So he's got blood-stained clothes. He's just throwing pieces,
so gross.
one piece at a time as he's going down the road.
How many times have you driven that route, James?
Oh, that's what I mean.
Oh, it's so gross.
So he goes back and forth, throwing little bits out all along the way of getting rid of everything that was there.
I hate that so much.
So, but I mean, no one's going to find it spread out over 600 miles of desert. You're not going to fucking find, here's a patch. Well, I found a patch 5 miles down the road.
Right.
None of that's happening. So, I mean, I guess that's a way to get away with it. Now, on the way back to his condo, he rented a carpet cleaner and cleaned all the blood out of the rug in the living room from when he initially hit her. So, and cleaned the spot in the bedroom too. So he cleaned up all the blood.
Right.
She's in a shallow grave. Every bit of her evidence has been discarded along the road. Perfect crime.
I feel so gross.
Yeah, I would fucking say
boy.
so. How could you not? It is gross.
We talked about all this?
Not in so much detail.
Oh, my God, this is so much.
It's a lot. And there's more detail here with the rest of it, and he's a scumbag.
No, I hate it so much.
Her father is a guy named Steven Bergston. He's a lawyer in Tucson.
Okay.
And she's been missing for a few days, and he's having a tough time, by the way. He's under investigation for money laundering.
Really?
One of his clients was raided by the drug task force and was said to be a big kingpin, allegedly. I'm not sure how that case came out. But he is apparently under investigation for money laundering for this client and doing shit like that. So he's got that pressure. And then he said his daughter moved out to Southern California, got there, and then stopped calling all at once one day. So he said that isn't like her.
Right.
That's weird. So he called the San Diego police, and they just said, I don't know, she's an adult, and she's, we have no signs of anything.
Yeah, but I got this client who's, what if somebody is kidnapping her to get back to me? This is fucking scary.
He's worried. That's what I'm saying. That's what he's scared about. That's
somebody
the thing.
Look for her.
Yes. So what he does is he takes missing person posters with a picture of Jessica on there and puts them fucking everywhere in San Diego County. Just whole county. Papers the place.
Wallpapers the town.
Telephone numbers for the police department. He talked to her friends. He talked to everyone she knew. He even met with Gator.
He's investigating.
He's investigating on his own. He's going to find he's not satisfied with what the police are doing. He even talked to Gator. Gator said that he said that Gator shook his hand and told him that no, he didn't know where she was. I don't know, man. Sorry. If I hear anything, I'll let you know.
Have you heard about Jesus?
I got a secret friend though that I could tell you about. I mean, that's something here.
Sweet Christ, I thought it was your dick.
I thought, damn it. Now, 2 months go by with nothing. No leads. Just disappeared into thin air. Just gone. No other witnesses. The only witness they found is a guy named Michael Edward Lacey, who lives in Pacific Beach across the street from her, from Jessica. She
lived in PB?
She lived in Pacific Beach.
Oh, she was crushing it.
Yeah, this Michael Lacey said that he last saw Bergston, Jessica, standing with Gator on her porch of her apartment on March 17th, 1991.
All right.
So that is 3 days before that whole incident. So 3 days before the murder.
Right.
So they said that, that's why the father talked to Gator initially, because he was looking for anyone who's had any contact with his daughter. And so he was like, she called me, I met up with her and showed her around a little. And that was that, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I'm into Brandy. That's what it was, a big city. So finally here, April 10th, 1991, this is kind of in the middle, a guy named Robert Lyon vacationing with his family in the desert at Shell Canyon. That's not a vacation, by the way.
How much does he hate his family? He was trying to make his family disappear.
That is not a vacation.
No.
This is northwest of Ocotillo in Imperial County.
Oh, boy.
You don't vacation there.
No, you get a speeding ticket there, and then you pay it because you refuse to go back.
Place. I'm not going here. What is it, $250? Fine. I don't even care.
Take my fucking money.
Now, they're all out. Lyon's son, David, ends up uncovering skeletal remains of a human body out there. The skeleton was on the ground near a ravine, and it was kind of the dirt or sand had kind of uncovered, wind or something, that sort of thing.
Rain.
It's completely naked, the body, no clothing, shoes, jewelry on or near her, nothing like that. So they call the coroner, obviously. The coroner comes in, and
the dad's like, I was trying to make my family we found...
Damn it.
What were you doing out here?
Vacation? Taking in the sights?
Trying to put them on a permanent... We were just camping. We were here enjoying the sights.
It's just beautiful this time of year. So the coroner notes that several upper front teeth are missing.
Okay.
We can only assume this is from the club.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, man.
Yeah, it gets worse, dude. Yeah, the hands and feet and one calf were mummified from, I guess, being out there, the elements. The autopsy did not reveal signs of foul play because she's so decomposed.
Right.
Now, they get some fingerprints that will later be identified as her, but for a while, they don't even know it's her. They just find,
because the hands are mummified.
Yeah, they just find skeleton out there, so they don't know who it is, and that's it. There's a skeleton found in the desert, which could be fucking anybody. Right. Yeah, it's in the middle of the desert. 91? Yeah, who knows?
Jesus.
So they also they didn't have. They thought maybe the missing front teeth was something that would happen, that she had when she was alive. So that was a way to identify her.
Dental records.
But it wasn't.
Right. Because
she had them knocked out then. The coroner was unable to determine how long the body had been there. Obviously, we know that. And they said that they had flashlights to remove the body. He said that he did not examine the area where the body was located to see if there was any missing teeth, jewelry, or clothing or anything like that. That's how that goes. So while this is going on, Gator's out there preaching.
Yeah.
He's still living his life preaching. He had all sorts of posters up everywhere. There's one place where they like to hang out was near a 7-Eleven, 2 blocks from his condo. They would hang out preaching to the kids.
Yeah.
It was next to the beach. There was a pizza shop there and like a convenience store, and this is where all the kids would come and hang out. So this is where they would preach to all these people. And Gator, they said, the guy called him terrific bait for young skaters because they'd see Gator and want to go talk to him. And then he'd go, let me tell you about my secret friend.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Oh, thank God, it's just Jesus.
So there's posters. Here he is, Zip. So there's posters everywhere all around here. And he continues to do his thing. He's skating, he's surfing, he's doing his shit. By the way, he's trying to skate street at this point, and I've seen some footage. It's the most embarrassing fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm better than him, and I didn't skate for 20 years. And I am better now than he was when he was trying to street skate. It's fucking terrible. He can't ollie. He can't do things.
Yeah.
He tries to do this grind and he just kind of slaps the board up with one foot. You're like, what are you doing, bro? Keep your fucking Jesus, dude. It looks like you'd never skated before. It looks like it's like you gave a 10-year-old a board and then said, you have 3 days to learn it. And that's what he would do. It was weird. So one time they're outside. This is Augie Constantino says this. He says, quote, one night at the 7-Eleven, Gator and I were witnessing, I guess that means bothering people about Jesus. Translated, annoying people about Jesus. We were witnessing. Bothering people about the Lord. Telling people about our secret friends.
There is something extra awesome about bothering.
Bothering.
You're interrupting lives.
It's going to bug people with some Jesus. So Gator and I were witnessing, and I saw this young girl with what they call a mini skirt. I call them towels.
Yeah.
Oh, he's So that's what he's witnessing, girls in skirts.
You're
that's
witnessing awesome.
Yeah. I said to her, go and put some clothes on, and when you come back, I'd like to talk to you about Christ.
How about chill out, Westboro?
Hey, fuck you, fat boy. Eat dicks, yeah.
Don't tell me.
Hey, go fuck.
It is 70 degrees all year long.
Why don't you go fuck yourself, Joel Osteen? Have a good one. Cocksucker.
He dicks Jimmie Swaggart.
That's right.
Guy?
Oh, yeah. He was a real asshole, Jimmie Swaggart. That's right. That's right, Baker.
Baker. Fucking Jim Baker.
So then the guy, Augie says, quote, and she said, I've got nothing to worry about. I've got no problems. So I pointed to the poster of Jessica missing that was right there. And I said, quote, what about this girl? She had nothing to worry about, but where is she now? She could have been involved in drugs, pornography. Maybe she's dead. That's a big stretch.
Who said that?
This is Augie.
Yeah. What the fuck,
She could
Augie?
be involved in drugs or pornography or be dead.
And that's if you're Rogowski, you're going, dude, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he does. Hey, calm down. Whoa.
Don't say the D word.
Essica J.
You crazy fuck.
Maybe she's dead. And then he says, the girl just ignored us and jumped into a car. But I got a strange reaction out of Mark. He was just kind of blank and silent. And so later on, a couple nights later, they're at a Bible study at Augie's house, and Gator came back to the house with tears coming down his face, crying his eyes out.
Yeah.
And the guy says, Augie says, I was getting ready for bed when I answered the door, and he said, Augie says, quote, he was crying, and he said he was Judas. So he was crying and saying he was Judas. We both sat and cried. We prayed for about an hour, asking God what we should do. About a week later, he just came in and said he's Judas.
That's it.
So they sat down and cried together.
You didn't tell him I've killed?
No. If you came to my house and go, Jimmie, I'm Judas, and you're crying, I'd be like, all right, fine, you're Judas. What the fuck is wrong with you? What do you want?
Judas, go the fuck home.
A fucking beer or something? You smoke a joint? I don't know what to tell you. Can I help you with this fact?
I'm crying, James. I'm Judas,
right, great.
obviously.
All right. Do I have to cry too? Why do I have to cry? I don't even know what the hell's wrong with you. What does that mean?
You need to sleep in the studio, Jimmie?
Yeah,
what are you doing here?
It's down there. Go ahead. Yeah, are you
kicked out?
Did you do something?
Your own
How'd you do that?
Nobody. You live alone.
Just lock yourself out by accident? So
how much do you hate you?
Yeah. So this happened, and a week goes by with no explanation. Nothing. And then he says, about a week later, he came to me and said, remember that girl in the poster? She was the one I killed.
Wait.
So
you killed somebody.
Now he's like, pardon? What?
Yeah.
So Augie talks him into turning himself in.
Okay.
He says that he drove him to the police department early in the morning. That morning.
That's a good move.
He says, well, that's good, but the advice he gives is not great from a legal standpoint. Yeah. Quote, I said to him, Mark, you don't need a lawyer. You don't need innocent until proven guilty. What do you need a lawyer for if you answer to a higher power? If a person is accountable to God, then he's accountable to society. The Bible says that.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, let's.
It does say that.
That's fine. You can live your life by the Bible, but when the law comes into account, you might want to put the Bible on one side and then put things like the Constitution and stuff on the other, and like laws and
the
go,
death
hey,
penalty over there.
Oh boy, I can get a lawyer, and I should probably not. Yeah. So he says too. People go, that doesn't sound like the best legal advice, and he says that's bullshit. No, that was fine legal advice. He says that. He says that it wasn't unethical to make the guy turn himself in. He said, Mark didn't come to me as a minister. He came to me as a friend. Anyway, I'm not an ordained minister. He knew exactly what was going to happen. So he was advising him on spirituality, saying he was his spiritual guide, then saying, but I mean, he didn't come to me in an official, pastoral. It was a pastoral. It's called capacity, where it's like a confidential thing, and I shouldn't get. Like basically, he knew he was fucked, and I was just driving him. Like, no, that's not what happened.
We both got head injuries.
Yeah. So he gets there, and it's May 7th, 1991. He gets there, and he's like, I killed this chick, and they're like, what chick?
Yeah.
Fuck you talking about? I killed this broad, and they're like, okay, we didn't even know okay. Yeah. Like, they were like, whoa, that's funny. To them, they didn't even know they had her.
This case has been open.
They didn't even know they had her body.
Right.
That's the thing, because she hadn't been arrested. She didn't have her fingerprints on file. They
didn't even have a missing persons report because they refused to file it.
That's the thing. Once they found out, once he said who it was, then they fucking compared fingerprints and found out it was her. Wow. But before that, they just had a random missing person out there in the desert. Could have been anybody. Jeez. So it's fucking crazy, man. It's insane. So it's a guy named Detective Richard Castaneda. He's the guy who interviews Gator here. He says that he gets there. He knew the police had issued a missing person report for Bergston, but it was just, it's not a presumed dead.
No.
It's a adult woman missing. Who knows? This will shut her dad up, right. I feel like, is kind of what it was.
Find her, let's ask her where she been.
Yeah.
And if she wants to remain missing.
Yeah. Well, Gator, he said, I murdered this girl. I murdered Jessica. He said he would take them to the site where he murdered them, because they're like, did you really now? Because, I mean, people will confess to shit they didn't do. People are weird. You never know. So if someone just comes in and confesses to something, they just don't slap the cuffs on them and book them. They have to have proof that they did it.
Yeah.
So if you didn't kill someone, you can go into a police station and be like, I killed the fuck out of this guy. They'll be like, well, how can we prove that? How do we know you killed him? We can't just put you in jail.
You have rights, sir. We can't just lock you up.
Well, we have to be sure there's a dead body first. We have to
Henry Lee Lucas pulled that shit, and then they found out he didn't do all that.
That's what I mean.
But he certainly killed a couple of people.
He killed a bunch of people.
And he tried to make himself look
quite as many.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, they can't just take your word for it and let you plead guilty. That's not how it works. They have to find out, so there's an actual, it's legal stuff. You know?
Right.
It's very complicated.
Closure for families and
things
shit.
like that. Yeah. So this was a big deal, though. He went in by the next day. This was in every publication. This is 91. He was still, one of the 3 most famous skaters in the world. And he's this is crazy. He's just went in and confessed to murder and rape. It's fucking insanity. Everybody, all of his friends were like, we knew he was a Jesus freak and shit like that, but they said he's always a little out there, but not like this.
How fast did Brandy find out?
Oh, dude, it's interesting here. Yeah. We'll talk about Brandy in a minute here. Don't you worry.
Oh, boy.
They ran, Hard Copy did reenactments. Yeah. They ran like a nightly update thing on it. It was a big deal. It was like OJ Light, especially in California. It was a big, giant deal. A 15-year-old who skated with him there, said, quote, he was getting old, but he was keeping up with the moves, man. He was getting old. He was 25. He was getting old.
He was 25.
He was 25.
Ouch.
He's getting old, but he's still pretty bitching. So
he's pushing 30, man.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That Perry Gladstone guy had just signed Gator to an endorsement deal for his Fish Lips skateboard company, which didn't quite work out. Gator, by the way, earlier that day had shot some sort of promo video for something too. So he was still that day of the murder, the day of the murder. This is interesting. The board that he was going to do, the logo had kind of a takeoff on the 7-Eleven logo. 7-Elevens have come up a lot on this show.
Loves them.
Yeah,
loves to steal from them. Loves to preach
fucking
there.
Preach
loves
by
to
him.
Witness there.
Witness, damn it. Now, this guy, Gladstone, said, quote, I came home the night of the night he confessed to find 87 messages on my answering machine. They were all reporters wanting to talk to me about Gator. My wife and I were with him 2 or 3 days every week for months setting up this deal. He was such a great guy. I just couldn't believe it. Well, you should believe it.
That's the equivalent of opening your @ mentions on Twitter and CNN. We'd like to get your side of the story.
Yeah, well, totally. That's
NBC,
what they do.
CBS.
And all of the hard copies and all these sensationalist shows, they are taking the whole thing. They're just like, the rock and roll lifestyle. That's how they're playing it. Like, this is just the sex and the drugs and the rock and roll and
actually
murder.
The exact opposite.
Yeah. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, and murder. They all go together. Like, no, usually they don't kill people.
It's usually Jesus witnessing and then murder.
And from our...
That works a lot more frequently than this.
Yeah. So it's fucking crazy. They did, they were showing anytime he was with Brandy, because he was in some other skate video with Brandy. Yeah. She was always there, because anytime he was doing something, nobody minds having a cute girl in a video or whatever they're doing.
Oh, that helps.
If she's standing there like, well, shit, let her jump around too. Fuck it, she's cute, and you get 2 for 1.
Right.
It's one of those. That's the way they look at it. So, they said that, and everybody was saying, like, all the skateboarding publications were saying, like, oh, don't take this out on, it's not all of us. Right. Don't. It said
one bad apple.
Yeah, then one an editorial. They said, quote, it's likely the skateboarding world will be placed under a microscope in the media. Let's just hope that we can all remain strong.
Yeah,
because it's going to be, you're all scumbags.
Everybody do what Tony Hawk does.
Well,
do exactly that.
Just be Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk says about this, quote, when I heard that Gator walked into the police and confessed to murder, I got sick. He said, this is amazing. He confessed to murder. I got sick. I couldn't skate for the rest of the day. I want to give him in their own words music for that, just because it's so ridiculous.
He said
I couldn't skate for the rest of the day. I couldn't skate. Oh, you poor bastard.
He said with his shirt all the way buttoned up.
Yeah. Couldn't skate for the rest of the day. The kids, though, around, all the like street kids, they're all in the fucking he didn't do it thing. It's like OJ.
Really?
Yeah, the skaters, he's like their free OJ type of thing. Right. They're going fucking he didn't do it. They have jackets that say Free Mark Anthony on the back that they're writing. They have bumper stickers that read one is the anti Mark Anthony. It says, skateboarding is not a crime, murder is. Mark Anthony should die.
All right.
That's a different one there. It's different. But they said that the Perry Gladstone guy said it was a terrible event for skateboarding. Skating's no more inherently violent than heavy metal is inherently satanic. But people in the media try to make it seem as if skating is a threat to the youth of America. I think you'll find that most skaters won't even talk about Gator. That's not true. They do. They all think he's a douche.
Yeah, but worse over. How about we let the facts and fucking and the trial play out.
Yeah.
Because you're going to see, just based on facts of this, has nothing to do with pools being drained. Has nothing to do with
it has to do with head injuries and Jesus and
a wrought iron fence in Germany.
And an asshole.
Right.
Now, they talked to all the kids skating. These are like 14-year-olds. One of them says, he was nice. We liked him. I think it's pretty dumb that what they say he did. My friends just laugh and think it's dumb too. If he did it, what can you say? We all feel sorry about it, but like the newspapers have been saying, it's just unbelievable that it's him. Yeah. They don't even believe it. All the kids are like, this is bullshit, man. They all said, that guy's cool with us. Like, he talks to us and shit. He told me about a secret friend.
This is what happens when you tell a girl to go fuck.
Yeah.
And she gets a 6'1" hot little blonde guy.
Yeah, and he freaks out because he can't handle it.
That's how much it stings.
Jesus. He tells this is a very famous quote that he tells the police when he's confessing. He says why he did this, because they go, okay, because everything he kept saying how mad he was at Brandy. Yeah. And they were like, okay, but you killed Jessica.
Right.
You keep saying Brandy. You haven't even mentioned Jessica. She's the one you buried in the desert. Right. You want to talk about that?
They're attached.
And he said, quote, everything that I hated about Brandy, I hated about Jessica. She was of the same mold that Brandy was made of. So that's the way he looks at her.
She's the same fucking person.
The same person. I'm sure Jessica encouraged her to fuck that surfer guy and all that. To her, that's how he's thinking.
They certainly talked about me.
He's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
They also find out, the police do, that about a week before the killing, that this is what he tells them. A week before the killing, he had gone to Brandy's house before she went to New York and said that he sat outside contemplating whether he was going to kill her or not, but she wasn't home, so he couldn't kill her.
Whoa.
So he might have killed Brandy a week before if she was home.
Whoa.
Don't know. So lucky for her, she wasn't home. Unlucky for Jessica here.
Oh, my God.
So the police originally had searched his home and just did a look around and didn't see any blood or anything because he cleaned it really well with the carpet cleaner. But now that they arrest him, now they go under the floorboards and shit, and they find blood that's soaked all the way through the carpet padding into the floorboards.
Wow.
They find that blood in two small spots of blood. That was where her head was. Here, they find blood stains under the carpet, like we said. They also find a carpet cleaner receipt.
Yeah.
He said that his accountant told him to save all his receipts. Not ones that are...
You're going to write off a fucking murder cleanup?
Not murder
Idiot.
cleanup. Don't tell you what, if you kill anybody, just let those costs go. Pay cash.
How about shred that shit?
Yeah, let's go.
Jesus, you dummy.
So they're going to charge Gator with murder, obviously. They're going to charge him with special circumstances as well because of the raping and all that sort of thing. This can warrant either life imprisonment without possibility of parole or the death penalty.
Yeah.
They're going to keep him up for that.
Also, the cleanup... Sorry. I choked on those words. The cleanup proves that he knows what he did was wrong.
Oh, fuck yeah, he did.
Fucking way
wrong. He drove to Phoenix and back to just get rid of everything, and on the way in, rented a carpet cleaner. He knew what he did.
Yeah,
he didn't lose his mind.
No.
Not at all, man. His public defender... Who is an asshole, by the way. Silver-haired, middle-aged white man extraordinaire, John Jimenez. He challenged the validity of the confession, saying that Gator's minister had no right to turn him in. He's saying that guy had a special power over Gator in a, God way, and he talked Gator into doing this under this spiritual advisor shit and told him he doesn't need a lawyer. Like, Gator believed him because he thought he knows better. What the fuck does that guy know better than you about the legal system?
No.
You don't go to your fucking minister for legal advice. No. That's the other thing. Why would the minister know any better about legalities than you would?
He's 25. He's an adult.
That's what I'm saying. So, also, Jimenez, although it was scummy to do, Jimenez, he is appealing the rape charge. He's saying that rape charge should not be on here. He shouldn't be charged with rape. He's saying that the decomposed body showed no signs of forcible rape. And this is amazing. Although basically he's saying that even though Gator said he raped her, you can't prove he raped her with the physical evidence. So who says he raped her? We need to have the evidence of rape. It would be like if he came in and said, I killed someone and you can't find the body. Well, then how the hell are you going to put him away?
I suppose.
You don't have any evidence. So who knows? He's saying it's the same thing, basically. And the judge goes, what are you, out of your fucking mind? Shut up. Rape's in, dickhead. What are you kidding me, stupid? No.
He did say everything else that happened to her, and we can certainly verify that shit. She's dead.
That's what I mean. Everything else was pretty accurate.
But he's gonna throw in that he raped her, and that's the part.
Was he bragging?
Right.
I can go 3 hours. Fuck no. Pretty sure he was confessing, and it's so he appeals that. He's saying that the decomposed body showed no signs of rape. He never, Jesus Christ. He also he went and basically in the press talk shit about Jessica. His lawyer went and besmirched her name
how dare you.
in the fucking press. This is disgusting. He suggested that it was her own fault. He told a reporter that she was a slut.
Oh, no, he didn't. What?
He told a reporter that she was a, quote, slut, so didn't just, and it claimed to have a long list of people with whom she's had sadomasochistic sex with.
Wow.
Which, by the way, completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
Completely irrelevant. You can have sadomasochistic sex with everybody you ever fucking meet.
Yeah.
That gives no one the right to rape you and bury you in the desert.
Thank God.
No matter how much you have. So, fuck away, people.
Good.
Tie each other up, go crazy. Make sure it's voluntary. That's all we're asking. Including, there's a long list of people, including the entire University of Arizona basketball team.
Oh, you don't get to say that.
And a handful of pros as well. And a handful of pros. He said that off the record to a reporter. Then he says, hey, it's like Sam Kinison said, some girls just turn Mr. Hand into Mr. Fist.
What?
Oh, my God.
What is he? He's implying that sometimes you get punched instead of slapped because of the way you behave.
Murdered because your friend doesn't want to go out with a guy.
Right.
Same thing, right?
And because you have slept with a basketball player or 7. Who gives a shit? Is he fucking disbarred yet?
In the Hells Angels Hunter Thompson book, he talks about how there's a chapter on kind of like the rape scare of the 60s and how they think that Hells Angels were raping everybody and all this type of shit. And he talks about a lawyer. He talks about this theoretical lawyer that everyone's heard of. It's an old thing that lawyers there used to be a thing where lawyers would say there's no such thing as rape. There was a certain amount of lawyers, and the old thing they would do, like the old proverbial thing they would do, is give you a quill and they'd have an ink bottle, and they'd say put the quill in the ink bottle, and they'd move the ink bottle around so you couldn't, and they go, see, rape's impossible.
Wow,
literally, that was the thing. That's an old-timey lawyer thing.
So they're saying, move your pussy and we can't...
Keep that pussy on a swivel is what they're saying.
The fuck?
Now, I love that Hunter Thompson...
I would stab a lawyer in the face with that quill.
Hunter Thompson does say, which is fucking phenomenal, he goes, any lawyer who's heard saying that should be dragged out in the middle of the street and buggered in front of every one of their clients. And I was like, that's fucking perfect.
You just stab him in the face and
he wasn't saying that was good.
Exist.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Wasn't saying it was good, but I mean, this is the type of asshole we're dealing with.
Man, what a scummy fucking freak.
That's what he says off the record to people. Don't print that or nothing, wow. The district attorney says, by the way, the voluntary confession is not a mitigating factor here. Just because he came forward 2 months later and felt guilty really doesn't mean shit in any of this stuff. Quote, the fact that he turned himself in does not change the fact that he tortured a girl for 3 hours, strangled and murdered her, and dumped her out in the desert. The body was basically a skeleton when we found it. It's absolutely outlandish what he did. And above that, apparently he hasn't shown any remorse.
No.
Which he hasn't shown any fucking remorse. He's sitting in jail like he fucking should be. And he thinks that, like, I came in and said that I did it, and then I'm also, I like Jesus, so
I answer to him.
I should be fine.
So clearly
it's all good.
Home.
And they're like, oh, no, you're the worst pile of shit ever.
Right.
And what the fuck are you going to do? And so he's sitting there. Now he's got to be like, shit, I shouldn't have listened to Augie at that point.
Boy, did he.
Maybe, I got some bad advice from a preacher.
Maybe I'm not Judas. Maybe Augie's Judas.
Maybe somebody's fucking Judas here. And he's sitting there. He doesn't know what to do. And there's a knock on the cell door. He's like, okay, I'm sure it's my meal or whatever. And
is this Judas?
He opens it up. No, it isn't. It's better. It's the Mexican pimp. Guns blazing. And he says... How is it you've come to arrive here? Why are you here? Yeah. You come in jail. You have beautiful... blonde girl, one leave you, another one says, you show me around. You don't kill her, you sell her. What is wrong with you? I don't understand. You know what? Jailer, let me out. I have to get away from this man. He make me too angry. I can't.
You're so
get away
close
from me.
To Tijuana.
I go back home now. I'm out of here. Goodbye. Poof. And a poof of gun and poncho and tequila and bullets. He's gone. So very
What
confused,
the shit,
Gator
man.
is. So at the hearing, though, yeah, the rape charge is he literally tries to get the rape charge thrown out.
And it stays in.
It stays in because they try to say that, like I said, he didn't prove it because the
You
body
have
was
semen
decomposed.
or a bruised
Yeah.
vagina, therefore he didn't do it.
It's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
They toss out the rape. They toss out the challenge to the rape, and so at this point, the attorney, after all this bluster, he says, "You probably want to plead guilty because this. I don't know what I'm doing."
I have done my damnedest. Look, I called her a whore in public.
Called her a whore. Right. I said a bunch of people. I told everyone she fucked Mike Bibby. At this point, I don't know what else to do. What else do I do? So
I've done my.
It's actually pre-Mike Bibby,
right.
but yeah.
I've done my best to besmirch her in every possible way.
I mean,
they're still on her side.
I've ruined her memory. I've angered her family.
Essentially shit on her corpse.
Ostracize myself in any community that's worth its salt. So I think maybe you should at this point probably just do that here.
I've somehow made myself less likable than you.
Somehow. Now, by pleading, he will avoid the death penalty and life without the chance of parole.
Okay.
So that's the rub here.
He's going to avoid both?
He's going to avoid both. Yeah, they're hoping that they're going to give him quite the sentence, but not life without the possibility and not the death penalty there. So, yeah, they do all of this. By the way, the rape charge, it took the judge 10 minutes to decide that it was staying in. 10 minutes. Said, you're an asshole. Don't think so.
Tell you what, I'll do you a favor and sit on this for 10 minutes max.
Now, when he enters his plea, he submits a 4-page written statement, which he accepts responsibility, but he also tries to express everything that happened here. This is fucking ridiculous. He tries to claim 3 things led him into this horrible situation. First of all was having sex outside of marriage. Secondly, pornography.
Yeah.
And third, disobeying and ignoring the Bible.
Whoa.
A priest testified on his behalf here. Never before have I encountered a person so clearly open about his responsibility. You're listening to a man skating away from the idea that murder was really his fault.
You know what he just did
Skating
too?
away.
That was clever. He reiterated disobeying the Bible 3 times because all 3 the other 2 are that's in the Bible too.
It's a wrap up at the end. That's what
you
he's
should have
doing
just
there.
said I disobeyed the Bible. Don't.
Yeah.
That makes more sense to me than all listing everything that you did that's in the Bible.
That's what I'm saying here. So that's fucking awesome. So they had to have they had extra security on during his sentencing because they had received information that Stephen Bergston who was attending the hearing, Jessica's father, was going to try to harm Gator, because he's got blood pumping through his body and he's a human. So he wants to kill him.
A daughter who was murdered viciously.
So anyone would want that. Yeah. So by the way, he had been indicted with 40 others in part of that money laundering thing for the drug deal. Bergston, we'll talk about how that settles out in a second too. He says that he admitted, although his original confession was directed by the Lord, he said in the subsequent 8 months he'd been tempted to dodge responsibility, deceiving myself as well as others. But now at last I've been led to a true, full repentance, having nothing to hide, thank God. He says, I'm finally able to express my regret and my sorrow over the loss of Jessica. Well, you got a lot of balls saying that.
Oh, boy.
He says, 2 months prior to this incident, I found myself in the midst of some surprisingly strange and almost uncontrollable feelings. All at once, the plague of vile visions and wicked imaginations and the daily battle to suppress them was overwhelming. It's no exaggeration to say I became completely enslaved to these devious mental images and inescapable thoughts. Essentially, I became a victim first.
What?
He's called himself a victim because I turned my back on God in several ways, thinking I could get through it on my own power. Wow. He says that without deferring the blame for my actions, he says, quote, firstly, sex outside of marriage, promiscuity, premarital sex and cohabitation, the disease of jealousy and the unhealthy obsession that so often attaches to these. That's one of the reasons. Secondly, pornography and its addictive character, ranging from risque public advertising.
What?
Chicks in like a bikini
fucking
advertising.
cologne ad?
Yeah, Bud Light ad.
Fuck you.
All the way to hardcore S&M. This dehumanizing of women and men, it's dulling the senses, occurring at all levels. porn is a consuming beast. Thirdly, closing the ears and heart to God's counsel, including partial non-repentance and disobeying and ignoring the Bible. So people, we must realize without reduction the gripping strength and deceptive subtlety of sin. What will it take for us to examine ourselves and listen? The tragedy of a young woman's death, the fall of your favorite celebrity, okay, perhaps the imprisonment of your best friend or relative. I know the Lord forgave me 2,000 years ago on the cross at Calvary, and although I attempt to forgive myself daily, I haven't quite been able to, and I may never be able to do so.
I hate him so much.
What a fucking...
I can't believe he took the spotlight in the courtroom to say that shit.
He also says, now I know that whether behind prison walls or flying free on a skateboard, my life will be devoted to teaching young people and adults alike how to avoid similar disasters.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
He just blamed Tom Petty.
He's that son of a bitch and Tom Petty. Then he turned to the father, Stephen, who was there, and offered an apology to them and said, quote, there's a bailiff between them, by the way.
God.
God has changed me, and it was no typical jailhouse conversion. I sincerely hope that they can accept my apology for my carelessness. You motherfucker. You said carelessness?
You misspelled callousness.
Yeah, you misspelled cuntiness.
Yeah.
So the father lost it at that point, interrupted, shouting, carelessness? Quote, he's a child murderer and a child rapist. He is evil incarnate. Cowards die 1,000 times and he will die 1,000 deaths. He raped her and raped her and raped her and then thought, let's kill her. We couldn't say goodbye to Jessica because that filth left her with nothing but a piece of skin, left her for the coyotes and the goddamn birds to eat her. I told you, and you remember this, Rogowski, what would happen if anyone hurt my daughter. He says he's undergone a religious conversion. Judge, you must have heard the same story 100 times. If he underwent a religious conversion, it was to evil, degradation, filth, and Satanism.
Yeah.
You, sir, may fuck off. I give that one to the dad. He gets to fuck off on that one. He is sentenced to consecutive, not concurrent, consecutive, so they are all together, laid out in a row, consecutive terms of, 6 years for forcible rape and 25 years to life for first-degree murder.
Okay.
His first possible parole eligibility was 2010.
Yeah.
So that would be 19 years. And, that's what they give him there. By the way, Stephen Bergson's money laundering charges were dismissed.
Oh, good.
Also, so he got that
good
too.
For you, sir.
That's good here. Now, when Gator goes to prison, he's diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Obviously, kind of could have just diagnosed that one on our own here. His lawyer here, Jimenez, said that Gator took some shit when he was first put in the county jail. He said, but one night after he was incarcerated a little while, inmates watched the story on hard copy of his murder. And he said, after that, I guess they thought he was a heavy dude because the rest of the population kept their distance ever since.
Did you see what he did to that chick?
They
with
thought
the
he
club?
was a fucking
That
creep.
Man is a murdering
literally, they were
psychopath.
They were probably like, we don't even want to rape him. He's so fucking disgusting. Like, that's how bad it was.
He raped a dying woman for 3 hours. Think about what he'd do to us.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So he's trying to get into the born-again Christian shit. He did get kicked out of the born-again group. He got kicked out.
They don't like murderers?
No, the other inmates said that they didn't trust him, and they thought him to be a phony, and that for him to tell kids his story smacked of artificiality, and they said they would have none of it.
Yeah.
Not having him using this shit for his own glorification.
Feels a little hypocritical.
It is. I mean, you don't want that kind of shit.
No.
He's done enough damage.
Yeah.
You don't need him fucking with kids. I mean, who's he fucked with so far? Bergston, Brandy, Tom. He's ruined Tom. Even he's besmirched Tom Petty.
He did.
I feel bad for all these people, but not nearly as bad as I feel for Mark Rogowski, president at Murtech Inc. in Ontario. Mark Rogowski, jet engine mechanic at the U.S. Air Force.
Oh, Jesus.
I used to know a guy who's a jet engine mechanic. They're always cool dudes.
Goddamn hero.
Commerce City, Colorado. Mark Rogowski, registered nurse in Hicksville, New York. Also, Mark Anthony, because he changed his name. Mark Anthony, the psychic lawyer.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? No. Celebrity medium appears worldwide on TV and radio.
Where
the
the hell
psychic
was he?
lawyer. No shit.
Could have used you.
He went to Arthur Finley Spiritualist College, literally.
Fuck that.
I swear to God.
That's a school?
They take people's money.
Oh, Jesus.
And finally, for the first time, I found a newspaper article about a mistaken identity.
What?
There's a guy named Mark Anthony who is an Escondido real estate agent.
Yeah.
And he says, this is in the newspaper in San Diego, he said that he is concerned because he started getting calls after Gator got arrested. He started getting calls from people saying, like, what the fuck, man?
I'm buying houses from you,
Literally,
scumbag.
Quote, a couple of people called who didn't know me very well to make sure it wasn't me. This guy literally took this shit. He's going, no, it's not me. How many deals did he lose? He says they're the same age, too.
Oh, no.
He says, I saw the picture in the paper and he slightly resembles me. That didn't help. He goes, and they also both went to Orange Glen High School.
Oh, Christ.
Same age, and now, because the guy changed his name to Mark, this guy's name was always Mark Anthony.
Both members of the Calvary Church.
Yeah. Only difference is this Mark Anthony's with a C. Mark with a C. But nobody notices that. So and graduated from Valley High. It's the same thing. They both went to the same places. Quote, I had heard of him in the past. I really do see the humor in the situation, but it could be a problem. I don't want it to get out of hand, he says. Well, no shit.
I also hate him.
The ultimate mistaken identity. So we have a couple of things from Gator here that he says this is just bullshit here that later on in his written statements. Quote, if you believe that it was a revenge killing and it was prompted by Brandy, I would say yes, he says. Never before have I encountered a person so clearly open about, that's the priest said that about him. He was saying that the priest said that about him. He said, I did lay upon her with a steering lock at one point. Lay upon her with a steering lock? But that was part of the S&M. Now he's trying to say, now in prison,
like mutual sex.
they had weird. Yeah, he's trying to say that hitting her with a fucking club was part of S&M. Look, I don't do too much weird shit, but I haven't heard knock all my teeth out as S&M. Open a fucking wound on my head that seeps to the floorboard seems a little excessive.
It's very rare that you go to work the next day and people go,
damn,
is that your brain I see?
Holy shit.
Yeah, you don't, I guess you don't go hard and fuck like I fuck.
That's what I'm saying.
Pussy.
Fucking pussy. See, now he wants parole. So he says the fact is that it wasn't rape. It was more like in an involuntary manslaughter. He says, if it weren't for my submission to her wiles and the temptation of having such sex with her. Wow. He just said she seduced. What a motherfucker. Holy shit.
Oh, boy.
Then he stopped in the interview and he said, quote, I don't want to defame Jessica at all. Well, you just did.
It's too late, you dickhead.
I'm very, very sorry about what happened to her. Now he knows the words he has to say. Oh, wait, I can't say that. I can't say what I really feel. I have to say, I don't want to blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry. I just want to make it known that I was led into a sexual situation that I didn't want to have anything to do with.
Wow.
You know, you can say, I don't really feel like fucking.
This feels borderline gross. Anything. You could say anything. No.
To get out of it.
I mean, it works. You know, it should be the least hot words to hear in a bedroom.
This is insane. Then he says, quote, I wouldn't have submitted if I didn't have some weaknesses, some background desire. You can go down the street to the Coronet bookstore in Oceanside and buy a vast array of S&M bondage magazines, pictorials, descriptive pictorials, and paperbacks that are step-by-step about how to lynch somebody sexually. It's pretty sick. I got a lot of ideas.
You know what else is in those books is fucking have a safe word. And if you don't like it, say that.
That's the other thing.
That's all you got to do.
Those people,
break my teeth out. Fucking cauliflower.
Hey,
Cauliflower.
Whoa, yeah, hey,
cauliflower.
no,
I'm not doing it.
No. That's a bad safe word because cauliflowers are pretty hot. You know
and it takes a long time to say that shit.
That's a lot, yeah.
You should have a shorter one.
So, yeah. Well, like I said, what if you're into some cauliflower play that night? Then what happens? What if you're fucking a professional wrestler?
What if you dig cauliflower?
Yeah. So
just telling me where to fuck them.
This gets worse, by the way.
Oh boy,
I got a lot of bad ideas. That night, I didn't realize what kind of a purring feline she was. You cocksucker. I didn't know it was This is what the shit that I didn't put in first time that I felt like we didn't fucking nail him to the wall hard enough because he fucking deserves it. Yeah. And now, as we'll get to, he's going to get out soon, so we got to talk about this shit. He says, quote, it's really hard for me to say these things about Jessica. Doesn't seem too difficult.
You should stop saying them.
We lost her, and I don't feel good about that. You're not part of we.
No.
That's the thing.
You did it.
You did it. Her family lost her. You killed her. That's a
You took her.
Yeah,
they lost her.
There you go. I just want to make it known that I was led into a sexual situation that I didn't want to have anything to do with. I was scared I'd be discovered with this wayward woman.
Oh, my God.
So he's saying that was about his reputation.
Yeah.
There were a lot of kids in my neighborhood, my proteges in skateboarding, who would have Bible studies with me. I was being an example to these impressionable kids. For them to see me with this woman, and then all of that had been going on, the wine bottles, the cigarettes upstairs, it would have been devastating. Yeah, a bunch of beach kids would really just disown you. They'd be like, "Oh, finally, you're cool. That's what we were hoping for."
Wine, you pussy.
We all smoke weed when we leave your Bible study.
Wine and cigarettes. Have this whiskey and fucking weed.
Yeah, you punk. So he said it would have been devastating. In my attempt to quiet her in her intoxicated and belligerent state, I had put my hand over her mouth to quiet her for a second so I could hear the voices and footsteps coming up my walkway. Because, they can't hear. I'm in my own home as an adult with a woman. They're all going to come. Fucking who
Where's
cares?
This lawyer to pop in the room and go, dude, shut the fuck up.
Then he says, quote, she must have suffocated or had a seizure or stroke or something. Next thing I know, I look down and she's not breathing and not moving. Mm-hmm. That's what this motherfucker says.
And missing teeth.
And bleeding from the head.
Jerk.
In 2002, when the Stoked, The Rise and Fall of Gator came out, and the woman who made it, Helen Stickler, said she made it because she heard it was so much rumor flying around. Yeah. She said, quote, I heard that he killed his girlfriend. Then I heard he'd killed his girlfriend's sister. Then I heard that he was on cocaine and chopped up a girl. She said, by the time I started looking into the story, everyone had been speculating and gossiping about it for years, but there was no real answers, which was true. I was a big skate. I had no idea about, I remember this happening when I was a kid because I was skating when this happened. So it was like, fucking Gator, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But and then I forgot all about it. And then when the documentary came out, I was like, holy shit. And then I heard the details of it. I just knew he killed somebody.
James, read those rumors again. Those rumors aren't even near as bad as the fucking truth.
That's the thing.
Chopping up his girlfriend is not near as bad as bludgeoning his ex-girlfriend's best friend.
Ridiculous.
That's way worse.
No, it's fucking insane. Never mind way worse. Now, in 2010, he has a parole suitability hearing, and he voluntarily waived the right for the hearing for 1 year. In 2007, he has a parole suitability hearing, and the district attorney said that he remained an unreasonable risk to society, should remain imprisoned, and all that. All the members of the Bergston family attended the hearings and said, please keep him incarcerated. He's denied parole for 7 years after that.
Okay.
So, November of 2014, there's an inmate petition that he has to advance his deal, and that is approved. And but then 2015, he voluntarily waives his right to a hearing for a year. 2016, he has a parole suitability hearing, and he's denied parole for 7 years. But he does another petition to get another hearing, and so that's 2016. 2019, recently, last week, and it was fucked up because we were going to do this story anyway, and then this shit came out, and I was like, well, Jesus, now we have to do it. They found that he's now 53 years old. The board found him suitable for release. Here, he
also still 53, suitable to murder. Still,
he could be killing. Fuck? Yep. It's only the first step. It's not. They're not saying he's going to be released. That's just to see if he can go to the parole board.
Okay.
The state's parole board now has 120 days to review the case. If it moves forward, then the governor of California gets another 30 days for review, and if he wants to, he can just pull it off the table and say, fuck this guy.
Okay.
And if that happens, he doesn't have another hearing. He doesn't have a hearing set till 2023.
So minimum 4 months and he could be out.
He could be out in less and as little as that. Well, then it would go to the board and then there'd be the release process, but it could be within a year. So that happens here. The district attorney says that prosecuted him, we respect the board and the difficult decisions they have to make, but in this case, we are very disappointed with the result and still feel he represents a significant threat to public safety, particularly women. He says that, he said most people don't have it within themselves to beat a young lady lady with a metal rod, handcuff her, cut off her clothes, rape her repeatedly, and murder her through suffocation. Most people don't have it within themselves to do that, but he did, and anyone who can commit a crime like that, which is so horrific and monstrous in character, demands the highest level of scrutiny.
Also,
that's a good way to put it.
Groomed a child.
That's the other thing.
Right.
15-year-old.
That's the part that he's not being punished for because whatever.
The dad brought it up.
But he certainly did it.
Yeah, I like that the dad brought it up now. Now, his attorney, through the parole suitability hearings here, he says that that the board believes that Rogowski fully accepts full responsibility, which he doesn't, I don't think. The lawyer said, quote, he has insight into the causative factors, and he has a sincere and heartfelt remorse for what he did, and he has changed. So, okay. They also talk a lot about his head injury in Germany, that changed him a lot. That's part of his strategy in parole, is that. He said that his client, Rogowski, is somewhat happy about the initial finding that he's suitable. He said, quote, he wishes there was something he could do to ease the pain of the family. He knows that there isn't anything he can do right now, or ever. He could die. That'll probably help. At the time now, the prosecutor also said, they said, why'd you agree to this deal? They asked the prosecutor, knowing this could happen someday. And he said, quote, I really didn't think he'd ever get out of prison. That's why he made the deal. He thought they'd never parole him because of what a piece of shit he is. So Gator, sitting in his cell, he says, quote, I had it all. I had different cars, a big house on an estate, even girls. I had the prettiest, most popular, most voluptuous, most unscrupulous girls. I say that I had a girl I once considered girls a possession. That's crazy.
That's disgusting.
That's what he says that's what he's saying in prison. Now, Jessica Bergston, he's still sitting there, by the way. Jessica is buried in Clark County, Mississippi, in a family with her family here. Brandy currently lives, this was from a few years ago, so I don't know about this, but it was like 2005 when this article came out. She was living in the Upper East Side of New York City working as a flower arranger. Okay? Interesting, Brandy. But I found something way more interesting about Brandy. Brandy was one of Heidi Fleiss's girls.
Get the fuck out of here.
Brandy was arrested in a sweep, and she's one of Heidi Fleiss's girls.
In L.A.?
In L.A., in San Diego. She's one of the ones from San Diego. Wow. If you don't know who Heidi Fleiss is, if you're too young, Heidi Fleiss is known as the Hollywood Madam. Right. Heidi Fleiss is a young lady who decided, why men are always making money off of women being prostitutes. Right. Why don't I start a high-class madam service where I will hook up, and we're talking celebrities, heads of state, dignitaries, royalty. Right. These were high-level, very expensive people, very discreet thing. And then it got raided, and all the guys went, holy shit.
Yeah.
That's the worst little black book in the fucking world. Her records can fuck us.
Not in there.
Oh, God. Scared the
Charlie
shit.
Sheen.
Waves of panic through the power centers of America after this here.
And then she was dating that piece of shit who I've been in a Twitter argument with from Black Hawk Down, and he's a fucking big star in Hollywood. Whatever. They were married, I think. He's a cokehead and a piece of shit.
Good.
Whatever. I don't know. It's a Hollywood
Tom
thing.
Sizemore.
Yes.
There you go.
That guy argued with me on Twitter, and it was my favorite day because that guy fucking stooped to an open micer's level.
At that time,
it was like 4 years ago.
Yeah, well, that and also, he stooped to way worse than that.
Yeah,
you heard some of the things he's done?
He's a piece of shit.
So quickly here, she says, during this interview in 1993 after she was arrested to somebody, she says, quote, people always expect some girl with like red lipstick, bleach blonde hair, and sequin dress and spiked pumps. But it's a misconception. I don't even own a pair of spiked pumps.
I got dark hair and I wear slinky black outfits everywhere I go.
They said this. She's got busted on a vice sting on the afternoon of June 9th, 93, I think it was, or 92. She and three other women showed up at the Beverly Hilton, to do a job here to provide 4 Japanese businessmen with $6,000 worth of sex.
Wow.
And
how much sex is $6,000 in 92?
That's a lot of sex.
Oh my God, that's like 2 weeks.
She said she didn't even get her clothes off yet, and the police came in. She was never charged, but now they flipped her, and so she's going to testify against Heidi Fleiss. Brandy is. So that's what ended up happening. She was going to testify. It's fucking crazy. How did she get into this?
Yeah.
Well, she had went to New York. Remember when she ran away to New York? Well, she was there. She's this because she ran away from Gator. That's what happened. She said, I was living in New York working for a florist. She's a flower. That's how I knew it was her.
Yeah.
Flowers, New York, same person, same age, everything. It lined up with the flowers $100. It was too much. If it is not her, biggest coincidence in the fucking world. Everything, too. They describe her 5'8", blonde, everything. From San Diego.
Right.
Lived in San Diego before that, then went to New York.
Or that poor Mark Anthony realtor, and this is the same fucking situation.
It could be. If it is, I apologize, Brandy McLean.
But it's probably the same.
It's probably the same person. I was living in New York working for a florist 2 years ago, and there was this girl I ran with in Central Park. She always seemed to have money and had beautiful furniture, and I thought, how does she do it? I mean, she was in nursing school. Well, one day she told me, and I was like, I would have never guessed. This friend gave her Heidi Fleiss's number, and apparently she called, and she said Heidi Fleiss told her that she had very rich clients, and that it was on a good level. You wouldn't encounter any weirdos. These are screened, very wealthy people.
I fucked a professional skateboarder for a long time.
And she said,
have you seen the free falling video?
Yeah, because I'm in it. That's easy to do.
Yeah.
She said it was like going on a weekend date, except it was very lucrative. Because she said, she went out with middle-aged men.
Yeah.
Anyway, she said, so she didn't really give a shit. She said she rarely got sent to the biggest spenders, which are Middle Eastern dignitaries, because she was deemed too skinny. So she was on the next tier because they wanted
like
a little
fat ass.
Well, yeah, they like a little something on there. So she's model.
Am I Middle Eastern?
She said she was too short to model and not trained to act and didn't know what to do at that point. She just knew men thought that she was attractive. She said there were kids of celebrities, celebrity kids, trust fund babies, one European billionaire, all sorts of business types. She said usually I would meet them at their house, that is the house their wives weren't at. Then we'd go to dinner, Nikki Blair's or Spago or the Bistro. That's some 90s shit there. Yeah. Then maybe to a club and then back to the house and then, well, whatever, have sex. Do what you want, do what they want. And she says, What'd she get out of it? She said, quote, money. You tell me one job where you can make $1,500 an hour. One job. A doctor doesn't make that much. A lawyer. Twice a month. And there you go. Your bills are paid. Besides, anyone can go get a job at like the Limited. But how many girls could keep a billionaire interested? Wow. I did.
Oh, Jesus.
She's bragging about it. Can't get enough?
No.
Jesus Christ. Well, there's reissue boards all over the place if you want to get a Gator board, but fuck that guy. The originals are like $200 for like an old school original one. Those will break anyway. If you want to get a hold of him, you can do that. You can write him. You want to tell him he's a piece of shit at CDCR number sign like hashtag pound. There you go. H27508 Mark Anthony Rogowski, California Men's Colony, P.O. Box 1801, San Luis Obispo, California 93409-8101. And also you can call him. There's the thing. If you're going to be speaking with him, you'll need to open a global Tellink account.
Oh, don't do that.
Those calls are either $5.45 or $1.85.
He's not worth it.
And if you're being charged a higher rate, you might want to look into the inmate discount phone service plan, or just write him and tell him he's a dildo.
Yeah.
Fuck Mark Rogowski.
Unreal.
That's crime in sports.
Wow.
And that's the way it should have been done fucking 3 years ago, but we couldn't do it. We just didn't have the wherewithal at that time.
I feel so gross.
I feel way gross. That's how we should feel after that episode. I didn't feel as gross as I needed to feel.
I think we talked more about Tom Petty than we did about him.
That's what I mean. We kind of breezed through it. It was a gross murder, and we were, we didn't know. So there you go. Now he got his due. Fuck you, Mark Rogowski. That's crazy shit. If you like that story, tell us about it. Tell the world about it. Get on Apple Podcasts, that purple icon. Give us 5 stars. It doesn't matter what you say. Say you're following instructions, following directions. Tell us they're locking me in a closet and forcing me to leave a review. We don't care.
They're holding a club to my throat.
Don't you know anything? But do that. It does help us out a lot. Go to shutupandgivememurder.com for everything crime and sports and small town murder related. All of your live shows. Tickets are on sale. Shows are selling out. That's how fast they're going for next year. Even you see a show in November and you're like, I'll get tickets in June. No, you won't. Yeah. They're going. There's a show in November that's almost sold out already. Right. Seriously, guys, it's crazy. Thank you for doing that. So get your tickets. Thank you so much. Get your tickets right now. Honestly, there was people that went to Chicago and then 2 days later bought tickets for a year from then for Chicago again. It's fucking amazing. They literally left and bought tickets for next time. Thank you guys for doing that. We can't thank you enough. If you want to get a hold of the show, and also if you want to follow the tour stuff and tickets and things like that, you can do it on social media very easily. You can find us at Crime and Sports on Twitter and Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram, and we'll post all that kind of shit there and everything. If you want to be a hero of ours, oh God, the praise. one of our producers who we love more than anything and we're going to gush about in just 2 seconds here, you can do that very easily by going over to patreon.com/crimeinsports or head over to PayPal and use our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com, and you can make a one-time donation like that, and Jesus Christ, are we blown away by that. Everything you do for us, you do everything for us. Thank you, and in return, we try to keep the show exactly what you like. We try to witness for you, and when people say, hey, you guys should do Blue Chew ads or Be Clean or break it into 4 parts, we go, nope, this is what our audience likes.
We're going to keep
dicks.
witnessing.
Our audience likes to watch us witness, and that's what we're going to do. So, Jimmy, you know what I need? I need those names. Witness me those names, Jimmy, right now.
This week's executive producers are Jordan Bennett. Again,
thank you, Jordan, for everything.
She saved a man's life at her
I heard
gym,
that.
and then she got an award for it, and she's fucking so depressed about getting an award.
You're awesome,
She's
Jordan.
very much like me, where she doesn't want attention, but she got it nonetheless.
Yeah.
So good for you, Jordan. Jenny Neighbors, Lorenda Lieber, Tanya Volanek, who, by the way, every week gives... You're so sweet to us. Thank you so much. It's flattering. Thank you.
Thank you.
Naima Shea donated both ways through PayPal and then signed up on Patreon. Thank you, Naima. And she's been around before, and then she came back, which is fantastic to see. Thank you, Naima. Murphy Productions. I don't know what that is. If you need productions of some sort, I'm sure Murphy can handle it. Yeah, fuck yeah. Jeremy Brown, Ashley Cooland, and Nate Brown. I don't know if Nate and Jeremy are related. Other producers this week are Ian Phillips, Padrage Murphy, another Murphy, Marion Mosa or Moja. What did I do? I think it's Mosa or Mora. Fuck. One of those.
Thank you. Disaster,
Thank you, Marion. Sabrina Crawford, Josephina Welsh, Chrissy McDonald, ML. I don't know what that is, but I do know her first name is Marin. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pandora's Jar, not Box, Jason Covert, Andrea Watson, Chris Dunbar. Yeah, is it Dunbar? I think, that's Dunbar. Anthony Trofer, Andrea Watson, I said that. Teddy Gingerish or Gingerich? I'm not sure which.
I don't know.
Alicia Stewart, Curtin? Is that Curtin? Corton. Singleton? I think it's Corton. It might not be. Snoopy Noodle. I don't know which that is. I think that's a first name or a last. It's both.
It's little each.
Julia Hooks, Emily McGinn, Jason Freeman's girlfriend's birthday is this week, and he did not give her name, which is hysterical. Give my girlfriend a shout out.
Sure.
Well, it'd be helpful if you knew her name.
No.
I hope Jason Freeman's girlfriend knows who she is. Kaylee Graff, Ricky Lawrence, Katie Turner, Schmoopy McBoop, Alan Gonzalez, Sarah Wee, Ethan Swan, Jingle Bella all the way.
Festive.
Yeah, it is. Ashley Hamilton, Jay McFarland, Jesse Myers, Zach Greif, Gwen Van Veen. That's a tongue twister. Casey Crow, Quincy Bones, which I hope is their real name. Awesome. Emily Stafford, Andrea Boyle, Ben Santa Stefan, Jennifer Storzuk, Adam Apple. Yeah, there you go, bud.
Yeah.
It's usually on the first one, but I got you back. Hunter Turner, Cynthia Takajowski.
Hey.
I don't know. Susan Watkins, Kyle Galkin, Brent Keister. I hope not. That's brutal.
Yeah.
But it's a name.
It's something.
Dana Downing, Johanna with no last name, Laura Maines, Ashley Cooland. I said that. She's doing both. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you.
Yeah, she is. That's right. Jared Price, Tanner Ford, Chance Hogan, Nick Reynolds, Adam Carpenter, Bronson White Rhino Hicks. That's what that is.
Whoa.
Tyler Russell, Alex Casella, Jesse Bowman, Chris Holtz. I had to look at the email for that. Brandy Huston or Houston, Jake Hulk, Krista and Kyle Lampke, E-Bitch, Amy Starr, Jen Crenshaw, yes, Stacy Watson, Jeremy Brown, Elizabeth Rivera, Keith Westfall, Tanya Newman, Jeff DeLuca. Yep. Lainey Potts, Paige Panta, what is that? Patanowski? No. Patnod.
Do you have the one where somebody said, they donated and said, I don't know what this is, but it's what my daughter wanted for Christmas, so here's money. They're like, thank you. That's amazing.
I saw that, and I have a name, but it didn't give her name.
The daughter still has the best message ever. That's so funny.
Marshall Tomey, Emily Vetney, Jamie Trenda, Jimmy Chambers, Claire Olena, I think that's right. Olena? Olena. It could be an Irish one. Tara, Reagan Schalke, Susanna Platt, Shelia, Hines, Gretchen Harrison, Spencer Arnold, Nathan Deal, Carl Bittner, Karen Edgen, Tim Blankenship, Brad Bach Aeronautics, Belinda Reed. She's the one that came all the way from Australia.
Oh,
and
thank you.
Donated again this week.
Cool
Thank you.
Shit. Thank you.
Gary Howard, Tanner Ray, Amanda Winter, Mandy Peterson, Ronnie Kumar, Sarah Firestone. I hope that's of the Tire Fortune. Sarah Williams, Thomas Craddock, Kayleen Kirsch, Dana Libert, Chrissy Chisholm, Lauren Demarath again. Thank you so much for coming out in Chicago, Lauren.
You, Lauren.
You're fantastic. Danielle Wood, Kimberly Westenberg. Yeah. Nerati, Crisolago? Nope. Probably not. Luis Rayfield, Donna Moscato Galley, Richard Lawrence, Brooke Lopeman, Peggy Vigu, David Barnhart, Emma Clark, Chris Edwards, Jude Kendall, Hedda Sorensen, Tony Francisco, not Francisco, Nathan Little, Alicia Simunek, Kim Novak, Robin Anderson, Tracy Mitchell, George Giassopoulos, Daniel Mateer, Thomas Smith, Ryan Sim, Robin Throckmorton, Taylor Seaman, Jesse Hartman, again, Sharon Harvey, Andrea Samples, Stephen Rude. The guy is a fucking mensch. Thank you, Stephen. Liz Vasquez again, and thanks for she sent us a huge box of nuts.
That's awesome. Thanks,
so
Liz.
Nice. Keith Neverow, Jackie Sukup, Stephanie Igoa, Ashley Vio, Brendan Abels, Joseph Blenis, rhymes with penis, Peyton Meadows, and real quickly through the people send me these little messages, and I like to just get them all in. Delivery truck drivers, UPS, letter carriers, truck drivers, and the real Santas. Thank you guys so much for what you guys do this week. Joe Eilerman is 9 years cancer-free. Congratulations.
Hey, congrats, brother.
Keep it going. Lucas Carleone had a baby, and so did his significant other, I imagine. Not just him. Willow Earp is the baby. And then Tanya and Marvin Kraft, thank you guys so much for everything you do. And all of our Patreon supporters, you guys are heroes.
Thank you, everybody, so much. Yeah. Honestly, man, we're blown away by it. And what if people are blown away by you, Jimmy? How could they tell you about it?
You can find me at Lenny Dykstra. Just kidding. Whisman, Whisman sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And I really love having Lenny Dykstra be a friend of ours.
We fucking love Lenny.
Makes me smile every day.
Awesome.
Especially his new passion of ripping Orenthal. He's going after O.J. Simpson.
I love it.
And just calling him Orenthal all day.
I never killed anybody. That's what. Fuck it. That's what he's doing. You know what, Lenny? You are head and shoulders above fucking O.J. You talk all the shit you want to O.J.
Where can they find you?
You can find me at Jimmie P is funny, or just copy and paste my name from the show description. Make it easy on yourself. Either way, find us and hang out with us and do all that stuff. And wild episode. Thank you guys. By the way, no show next week.
Right.
Christmas week. It would come out on Christmas Eve. That's stupid. So we're not going to do that.
Talk.
No show next week. There is a Small Town Murder next week. That'll come out after Christmas. So you guys might need that to cheer you back up after it.
Cleanse the palate.
You don't need us on Christmas Eve with this. We will be back the next week and then every week after that, though.
Obviously.
So that said, everybody, live from the Crime and Sports Studios, we will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus